Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you as always for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you once more for joining us. And of course, as always, thank you for your patience. I did recently go out of town and wasn't back in time to record a show last week. So we basically had to skip last week, and we are back this week, of course. So we definitely appreciate you guys sticking with us, and of course, your patience as always. That's always appreciated. And if my face looks a little red and flustered, is because I too, like Oscar de la Hoya, did a CO2 laser treatment on my face so I can be 20 years younger in a couple of weeks. No, I'm just kidding. I just went to Lowe's to pick up some outdoor tile, and I live in Vegas, and it's hot as fuck. So I am sweating as I am doing the show, but nonetheless, I wasn't going to let anything get in the way from coming on here and talking about, first and foremost, last week's fight with Cepeda and Tevin Farmer. We definitely need to go over that because that was the highlight of last weekend's fights. And of course, a couple of fights that happened this weekend with a rising heavyweight American prospect in Richard. I don't know if it's Richard Ricardo. That's where he goes back and forth. Torres Jr. But saw him in action, and of course, whenever we see a heavyweight American prospect, we definitely want to talk about him. So we're definitely going to be including him on the show, of course. In addition to other fights, of course, we got Tim Zoo's back. We definitely want to talk about that because that weight class, holy smokes, 154 is stacked like a mother. So yeah, we got plenty to talk about. Also, we got about a month away from that major May weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend that we're going to get into here as well. But before we can get into all of those details, Andrew, what's going on, dude? What's happening?
Hey, what's up, Miguel? How's it going, guys? Just hanging out this weekend. Nothing big going on. Stood around the house. So just watched a bunch of what we had like three fights yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was a very good night of boxing. Very good night of boxing. But that is it. Kind of a boring life this week
No, that's
or
all.
weekend.
If that's
Excuse
all I
me.
had to do is stay at home and watch fights, I will have no problem doing that. I wouldn't leave my house. I'd be like, I'll be leaving my house to pick up my mail and then be like, oh, this is what the outdoor looks like. So yeah. But not too busy of a weekend. It is nice and chill, of course. And then last weekend, the reason I wasn't able to record was because I did go camping. I went out to Joshua Tree National Park. I think that's what they call it, but it's a campground. It's called Jumbo Rocks, and it was pretty dope. I gotta say that it was pretty badass. I've never gone camping like that before. I did go with some people who did know how to camp, so they came prepared. They said, just bring XYZ for yourself. We'll bring the rest. Cool. And yeah, night number one was cold as hell because you kind of don't know. You have a sleeping bag, but you kind of they tell you to bring XYZ, but it's still hella cold. And then night number two, I don't know if you know this, but they have these little like packets that are like hot, right? They're like you shake them and stuff, and then they basically activate and they're hot. You
You're
put them in your
funny,
yeah.
Miguel. You
That's
put
dude.
heat packs in your sleeping bag, bro.
Dude, yeah, it was cold, dude. It was windy on top of it being cold. I had to put those things in there because I was like, "Holy hell, it is cold as shit!" Like chattering your teeth. But
I won't
you know what?
embarrass you and ask for the temperature, bro. I won't do it.
It was a
You're
toasty
all,
72. No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
exactly. You're all, it was a freezing 68 degrees that night.
But I
People
didn't
on
have.
the East Coast are just turning us off right now.
They're like,
Fucking pansies.
yeah, try sleeping out there. All right, it's
Yeah.
one thing going out there with a jacket and doing stuff in the daytime. Try staying still at night for 8 hours when it's cold and windy. But it was quite the adventure, no doubt. No, and then of course the bathroom. Thankfully, we had a nearby like porta potty, so we'd go use that. But getting up in the middle of the night to go use that is not a good idea. So it was quite the experience. I'll tell you that. If anybody has the opportunity, I would definitely and has the means, I would definitely suggest doing it because it is damn fun. But besides that, it was a little scary, I will say, because I was out there and there was no signal. Like our phones were dead. Obviously, we could have how was going to do the show. We were like out there, bro. So it was like,
Nice. Hell
hold
yeah.
on. It took us a minute to like get back. When we got back, of course, and there was signal. It was like brrr, all these damn messages started coming to my phone. The only reason I had my phone was to take pictures. Really, that's all I did. Even though I did take a separate camera for that, but yeah, no signal. So even sometimes when you don't want to see the results of fights and then it ends up popping up on your phone, I didn't even get that because nothing came through. Nothing came through. So it wasn't until I got back into town that all the results started popping up. But that being said, let's go ahead and get to the business at hand here. I would like to get started with Of course, we mentioned last weekend with Cepeda and Tevin Farmer. Now, I don't know if you have read recently or heard, but Tevin Farmer has come out to officially say that he actually has Tourette's or Tourette's syndrome, which is why he has that tick where he looks up. He said he has been keeping it a secret for a long time, like the official diagnosis, I guess, actually saying that's the case. But because we're always concerned when we see him do that, right? It's just like, oh, what the hell is that kind of nervous tick that he's got? But apparently that's what he says it is. I didn't know that's what it was. I thought Tourette's is you just blur out something, whatever's on your mind kind of thing. I don't know if it had to do with like physical ticks like that, but it must. And he says it's nothing neurological. I don't know. I think it's is it a nerve thing? Is it a nerve? I'm not exactly sure how exactly it affects the body, but he ended up coming away with the loss. He It looked as though. Oh, by the way, he says that he injured. I think it was. Well, I want to say he says, but he kept shaking his left arm. Right, it was left arm, and the commentators kept saying that it was his left elbow or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
After the fight, he was asked about it, and he was like, he didn't want to talk about it. It's like, don't even bother with that. Like, it has nothing to do with it, yada yada. So he just wanted to, proceed with the interview without that, and he didn't even want to like get into it. But unfortunately, that may very well have affected him in the fight, and he ended up coming away with another loss. So 2 losses to William Zepeda. Doesn't look good on his record. He sounded very defeated in his post-fight interview in the ring, saying like, I can't be going through these like tough ass camps and then still get, come away with a loss. He of course is convinced that he won. I don't know about that. It didn't look like he won to me. I think Cepeda did come away with a victory, fair and square. Maybe a little closer than some of the cards, but I still think he got away with a good win. Cepeda, I'm saying. But that puts him in a good spot. It puts him in a potential fight with Shakur Stevenson, which we will be on a story a little bit later on. But yeah, I feel bad for Tevin, because he's always coming up short. Well, I don't say always, but he was a former champion, but loses the belt and then just comes up short a few times. I'm not sure how much more he has in him, especially considering number one his illness, his disorder, I guess we can call it, and on top of that, him coming up short with these fights. I don't know if he's going to want to go through these fight camps any longer. So it sucks for him, but great for Cepeda because, hey, man, you know what? I thought those body shots that Cepeda was landing were doing hella damage. I think he finally learned from that first fight that stop going to the head of Tevin because Tevin's got some pretty solid defense, and he just started fucking boom boom to the body. The body. That's how you slow a dude down, right? That's how you're able to. At first, he wasn't cutting off the ring very well, Cepeda, I'm saying, and then later on, it seemed those body shots started to slow Tevin Farmer down to the point where he was able to cut off the ring a little bit more and get him up against the ropes. So, good job on Cepeda. He did get hit, quite a bit. I'm not going to say he doesn't. This is kind of one of the downsides of having that kind of style, similar to maybe even Triple G. He's right in front of your face. He comes forward and he's bulldozer, but he's there to be hit, and he got hit quite a bit. Tevin definitely landed his fair share. Andrew, what did you see about the fight? What do you think about the decision?
Well, I'll tell you what I think about the decision after I have to defend Farmer on one thing is
Mm.
he would have been the champion today if the ref calls the knockdown a knockdown. Correct? It's that
Okay.
knock.
Okay.
It's right because one of the
Okay.
scorecards is a draw,
Yeah.
and then the other ones I think are so close they would have switched the other way. And I could be wrong, but the knockdown's big, right? The knockdown
Sure.
is big. Um, I don't want to say Cepeda got away with one, but in their view, listen, this fight is in Cancun. This is Cepeda's backyard. I know it's not his hometown or nothing, but it's his
Yeah.
backyard. It's
His
his,
home
it's his
country.
country, home
Yeah.
country, and the dude gets a majority decision with the fucking very controversial slip, fall, whatever
Mhm.
that thing the ref was calling that. Uh, I didn't have it that close. I was
Mm.
amazed that this fight was a draw. I was like, a draw?
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I didn't have the fight this close. I'm just going off of what Tevin was looking at that night. He hears the scorecards. Then when you look at the ref, hey, man, what the fuck? Then you're the one that kind of took the fight away from me. It wasn't Cepeda.
Yeah.
Because if it's an honest fight, I think he wins on the cards with that reverse on the knockdown.
Mm.
or with the point of the knockdown. Excuse me. So yeah, man. William Spada showed flaws, right? He's exciting. I love to watch him fight, but he's not perfect.
Mm,
This is his second close fight with Tevin. Um, so I don't know how far he's gonna carry his undefeated record once he steps up into the big boys um, stage. So, and seriously, there should be a target on him right now because this
mm.
is a second fight. He got a chance to actually prove that the first fight was a fluke, and it seemed a little bit closer. On there, dude, it's so weird. Miguel, I don't have it that close. I'm eight
Mm,
four, right, with the controversial fucking knockdown.
mm.
But I guess I'm just a Cepeda fan and was giving him every round.
No, I didn't think it that close either. Like I was,
Exactly, bro. All right,
he's too
thank
much.
you.
He was throwing too much, and Tevin was, I mean, I'm gonna say too much in a bad way, but he was throwing way more than Tevin. And I think once Farmer's arm, whatever it is that it was injured, he was holding a lot and he was, getting hurt. I mean, he was stumbling around a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? So, and maybe not to the point where he was like hurt up here per se, but his legs were damn near gone with all the damn body shots that Cepeda was landing. So I didn't think it was that close. I mean, once I heard the scorecard, I was like, oh, what the fuck?
I
Um,
know.
but I agree
Same
that
here, bro.
Cepeda kind of didn't look as good as maybe we thought he was going to look. He did what he needed to do. He made the proper improvements and he won. But um, it, we Tevin Farmer is kind of a journeyman now. You know what I'm saying? And he
Yes.
struggled this
Yes.
much with a journeyman. How is it going to look? I anticipate that if he does get the shot at Shakur, that Shakur is not going to. Shakur is going to hold more, basically. That's what he does. He gets too close and he's going to hold. I don't think he's going to land as much. I don't think he does. I'm not sure if Shakur throws as much as Tevin does. But I said definitely think he's going to land the cleaner shots similar to Tevin. I just don't know if Shakur has the pop to keep Cepeda off him. So even with the shots that he does land, and they will be clean on Cepeda, I'm not sure if that's enough to stop him. To stop Cepeda, he's going to continue. It's almost like a small Margarito. He's going to keep coming forward. He will take the shots, and if that pressure, if you can't take that pressure, you're gonna fucking wilt, And we've never seen that from Shakur. We've never seen that kind of pressure on him to where he hasn't been able to handle it. Whether or not he can do it with Cepeda, I don't know. But it definitely makes, if I had, thinking, all right, Cepeda is really gonna go in here and fucking just give it to Shakur after seeing these two fights with Tevin, it's like, oh shit, I kind of now let me pump the brakes on that because
Of
he struggled
course.
this much with Tevin.
That's all it is. It's still a great fight, but I mean, yeah, Shakur is looking a little bit heavier as far as a favorite going into it now.
Mm,
Um, I hate it. I always feel like I miss something big when the commentators and the judges are in one, right? Because the zone was hella pumping up Farmer, and I'm like, man, I'm not seeing what the zone's saying here, right?
mm.
But then the scorecards came out, and you're like, then you just throw your hands up and go, well, guess I was just a fan tonight because unless it's totally fixed, how were they saying it? And then the scorecards come out the way that they do, so close. So right guy won, close fight. Question mark on Cepeda going forward though. Yeah, he's getting hit a little too much. He got dropped. Looked like he got dropped in this fight. So we'll see. But still, excellent fight, him and Shakur.
Um, I'm drawing a blank. Were they both Southpaw? Were they both Williams Beta and fucking Tarver? Were they I mean Farmer? Jesus Christ, I get the Tevin and the Farmer mixed up. But are they both Southpaw? Because now I'm
Maybe
trying to
going
remember.
back and forth during the fight. Yeah, they
Okay.
both can go back and forth.
Okay, all right. Because I'm trying to remember if that had any difficulty, if that added that level of difficulty to Cepeda's game plan. On Farmer's side, what now? Like, I mean, it sucks. You hear the
I'm
defeat in his
done.
voice, right? That's it.
I was done with I was done with Farmer a while ago, though, right? The whole
Yeah,
fight, this fucking shit, I'm fucking done with Miguel.
yeah.
I really am. Like, can we? The guy looks like he's going through. Like, it's painful to watch him in the ring.
Mm,
And it's no knock. It's just, bro, your eyes are rolling behind your fucking head when you're getting punched in the head. It's not a good look. And I know I'm hoping he has all the tests, but can you imagine if Farmer does have some neurological issues later on in life?
Mm.
How much it's gonna be a black eye on boxing. How many videos we have of this dude twitching in the fucking ring? And I'm sorry, Tevin, it seems to only happen when the pressure's on, when the heat
Mm.
is on. Maybe that's the trigger for Tourette's. Don't
Sure. Like
know.
the stress, maybe. Yeah.
But man, when things are going good, you're not fucking twitching.
Mm.
It's not a good look. Because now they have video of it. It's only happening when you're getting hit in your fucking head.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. Hey, he made his money. He's been like, bro, let's send him. We got to send him away at some point. You got to stop giving him the fights. So, yeah, he had this one shot to try to make it right. It didn't, and it was a bad look at the end there. At the end there, all the twitching, it does for me. It's not what I'm watching boxing for. Could you imagine in football, like if someone got tackled and they got up and did this shit all the way
Yeah.
to the fucking sidelines, and then when they're talking to the coach, they're fucking doing this. Come on, Miguel. They
Yeah.
wouldn't be in fucking
No.
football,
Or
bro.
they're like the center is like right there and like doing that the whole time,
Yeah.
right? Waiting for the
Yeah.
hike. It's like
Yes.
yeah, those split seconds matter in those kind of
Well,
fights, you
that's a
know.
flag too. I guess you can't even do that as a center. That's false start, baby.
Yeah.
Got him. You
Encroachment.
got him again.
Right?
Fucking
It's like,
refs picking on him.
oh shit. It's like offsides, offsides. Like, wait, hold on. Oh gosh. It's still can be just
Yeah.
oh shit, that'd be some crazy shit. But yeah, like anywhere else, and especially in a sport, in a combat sport where you're getting punched in your fucking head, I'm sure that doesn't exactly help. So yeah, and he sounded so defeated in his interview, and he was just like, I can't be doing this anymore. It's like, all right, maybe you can make the decision yourself to just step away now, because it doesn't look good when you're in there, and those split seconds in a in a fight, that they matter. Those split seconds that you do your thing, if a punch can come in at that exact moment, and you didn't react quick enough because of that, because of the tick or whatever, and that can make things even worse. So sucks for,
Tevin Farmer should be in a group of boxers that made enough money if invested right. Like if went out and bought real estate instead of went out and bought cars,
mm,
they should be fine, right? Going on into their retirement life. Stayed humble, right? I
yeah,
never seen him flashy. I
right,
never seen him doing any of that. He's been in championship fights numerous times. He had to have been making good money. This is large sums of money that comes in at one time that you can do some serious investing with, right? It's not coming trickling in. Let's hope that he's spent the money correctly, invested it correctly, where he can ride off into the sunset. Um, yeah, it's like you said, because of age and the health risk that he shows to the sport of boxing. I think it's time to cut ties, man. Um, it's a bad look when you have someone that's been punched in the head too much, right? For us. And Tevin now has a long history of being in fights where he is showing there is something wrong with him. Now I guess I have to be a Google doctor or with Google MD, is that what they call us?
yeah.
And go look up if Tourette's can be triggered by punches to the head, or is it,
Well,
I
I
can't
think
go off what
it's
Tevin said.
stress. I think it's stress. When you're in that, like, if things are going good in the fight, you're a little bit more relaxed, right? But then
But it's
there's
a
pressure
brain
added.
issue.
Yes, I think it's a brain issue.
It's
Yeah.
got to be a
But
brain
when
issue,
when
right?
when there's a lot of pressure coming at you and you're kind of stressing over some shit, I think I have to assume that, because that's just how it is. Other things flare up when you're under stress, when you're under duress. So when somebody's putting pressure on you and trying to corner you and throw shots at you, I have to assume that if you can't keep that under control, the stress will cause that trigger to flare up, and it'll make. And here's the thing: with I don't know if does it get worse with age? Like, is it only gonna get worse? Yeah, I mean, I don't think
Those
it
are the
stays the same.
questions, Miguel. Is it going to get worse with age, and does punching in the head make it worse, right?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a time where he's 60 and he can't even control the twitch anymore? And they're going to be like, well, have you ever watched his career? And he's like, shit. Yeah, we did. We watched
Yeah.
numerous fights of this guy getting
Did you
his
watch him
head
fight
beat
that
in.
Cepeda guy a couple of years ago? Like, yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And even remember, that was a big thing with Lee, too, bro. Lee was always all over Tarver,
Hmm.
too, about
Yeah.
how can this be right? And it just doesn't. Every time I see it happening, it just doesn't look right. Him getting hit in the head with having a nerve issue like that, where his eyes are literally rolling. He's
Hmm.
not seeing anything for those split seconds.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And those
Yeah,
split
it's
seconds
crazy.
count in, elite fighting, when
Yeah.
those split seconds, when, the people's reaction times are like sharp when they face younger guys like a Cepeda, or even anybody else who has much faster reflexes that can catch him when he does that shit. I mean, damn, can you time it? I don't even know if you can do that. Like, oh, he did it twice now. He's going to do it 3 times. Now I can do it. Can you even do that shit? Like, time it? Uh, Asking questions. I don't know.
Like playing the
Let,
lot.
let
It's
them
like
be.
slot machine, maybe.
Yeah, right. It must
Just
be.
throw your punches, bro, and maybe you hit a jackpot.
Right. Exactly. And the more punches you throw, the higher the probability that you'll get the fucking jackpot.
Yep.
But regardless, another victory for Cepeda. Hopefully he gets his crack at the legitimate champion, or the WBC champ, I should say, in Shakur Stevenson, which, as I mentioned earlier, we have a story about later on.
I
But
mean,
you
go
know,
into it.
oh,
Nah,
really?
you
You didn't
go
know?
right into
Okay, all
that.
right, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's do it. I'm bringing this shit right back up here. So there has been a lot of back and forth, some back and forth here recently with Oscar De La Hoya and Shakur Stevenson, right? So the first thing that Shakur does, or Oscar does, is go after Shakur, saying like, "Man, after all this shit, really, you're gonna bounce, you're gonna bow out of this fight. Really, you're not gonna get this fight with Cepeda. Cepeda just got himself a victory, and he's basically, Oscar, I'm saying, is throwing Shakur under the bus, saying that he's the one that wants to bounce from the fight. Well, Shakur most definitely didn't keep his mouth shut and said, "No, no, no. Let's get the facts straight before you start accusing me of bouncing." Let's go ahead and start with what the first thing that Oscar said here. He says, after all the shit talking, and then he what's the word? He tags Shakur Stevenson. It says Shakur Stevenson pulls out of the Cepeda fight. So Shakur claps back at the Thursday clap guy. Says, "Is that what they told you? Turkey promised me a number, and now he's going way back on that number that he promised me, and sending his towel boys to run me the info instead of telling me straight up what he trying to do. What he trying to do. I don't bow down to nobody, Mr. De La Hoya. Now let's negotiate." All right, so now he's down to negotiate, right? But he wanted to make sure to get the facts straight. No, no, no. It's not that I'm fucking trying to, duck Cepeda and I'm trying to get out of this fight. It's that Mr. Turki Al Sheikh promised me a number, and now he's going back on that offer. And according to what he says here, it says, let me go back here real quick. So he's saying, right, he's trying to go back, like way back. So I don't know if it's like that much more that he had offered him, or like, I guess he was trying to like bait and switch him or something, because it seems from what he's saying that Turkey is now offering him substantially less than what he did before. So Shakur says, "Oh yeah, and I'm not done negotiating, because one thing about it is that I'm the champ." All right, yeah, he's right. So whether the fight gets done with those people or not, I'm stepping on, dude. What? I'm stepping on, dude, but the fight will be made next. All right. Shakur, please get a PR guy, because I don't know what the fuck you're saying sometimes. But let me go ahead and read that one more time. It says, "Oh, yeah, and I'm not done negotiating, because one thing about it is that I'm the champ. So whether the fight gets done with these people or not, I'm stepping on, dude, but the fight will be made next." Okay, cool. So regardless of whether the fight gets done with Turki Al Sheikh or not, according to Shakur, we're going to get that Cepeda fight next. That's what, if I'm understanding
Well,
his.
hold on, no.
Yeah.
Where's
There's
Oscar?
more to it, Mar. Huh?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
All right.
sorry.
No, that's fine. So, but this is all just like Shakur stuff. So he goes on, "Crazy thing on my soul. I would cook dude so badly, he's a mismatch." Talking about Cepeda, of course. "I want this fight so bad that these dudes want to take advantage of me by giving me way less than what I got for the Padley guy that he just recently fight, just because they know how bad I want that fight with Cepeda. The fight is ordered by the WBC. I'm still the champ and aren't pulling out of anything. Ain't, or Jesus Christ, damn it, Shakur. If we can't reach a deal, then a purse bid it is. See you soon." Okay, so that's all Shakur is saying, "Hey, the fight's gonna be made, whether it's with y'all or not, but I'm gonna make this fight with Cepeda. I want this fight so bad, and y'all know it, and that's why you're trying to do this bait and switch roll shit on me here." So he's saying the WBC is ordering it, so it's gonna happen. We'll see you guys soon. What were you gonna say about Oscar?
No, I was gonna say it's it's all coming crumbling down for Turkey right now. Turkey don't care about the WBC, right?
Right.
So Shakur is saying he's gonna hide behind the belt and have a bid, purse bid. is Oscar going to be like, well, my boss is technically, if you're working with Turki Ali Sheikh, he
Hmm.
becomes the boss of the situation, or the prince, whoever's overseeing this over in Saudi or in Riyadh. So he gets he's got to make, now Oscar's kind of in a tough spot, right? Are you going to tell Turki, oh yeah, sorry, we didn't get a deal with you, so we're going to come back to America and just work a deal on our own and damage possibly the fighter that Turki wants to use? How's that going to work for this guy?
Hmm.
Is William Cepeda big enough to go, all right, you know what? Fuck it. We don't need belts anymore. We're just going to go fight for Riyadh. No, we'll fight for this. I don't know what they're fighting for, because he's not going to get into the UFC thing either,
No,
because
no, it'll be like the Ring magazine or something. No, I mean,
oh yeah, the ring belt.
yeah.
Maybe that. Okay, so now he's going to go to some, who's Oscar going to start matching these guys up with, right? Because you got to think at some point the WBC, the WBA, the IBF are all going to go into a room and go, yeah, let's blackball this guy. I want
Mm,
all of our ranked fighters to be told, emailed. I don't know if they'd put it on paper, if you get phone calls or whatever. We're not working. We're not going to allow you guys to be ranked and then go fight for Turkey in some fucking obscure fight card and then come back here with the defeat, but think you're still ranked because you took a loss with some guy who's not even working with us. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Where I'm
okay.
going here?
Mm,
It just seems like it's gonna be really tough for Turkey to get this Saudi thing off without the help of the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, Oscar, because those guys are already family. They've
mm,
been working hella long. It looked like they tried. They went to Turkey and seen what he had to offer, and Turkey showed his colors too fast. He showed his colors too fast. Now they all came back. Oscars with Suleiman right now. They're doing a global, what was it? A nationwide boxing class over in Mexico. There's
mm.
thousands of people there. Thousands. And he said, I don't know how it went through the whole nation, the country, but it did. They did a whole country boxing class. So Oscar's in Mexico right now with Suleiman. You don't think they're talking about the future of Cepeda, the WBC, all the ranked guys, and how the fuck TKO and Turkey are gonna try to take over this whole thing? It's a
But
joke.
do you think though, because like Mike Carpenter did have a point, do you think that all the sanctioning bodies who weren't really willing to work together as regularly as we would like are gonna now do that because they're gonna need to? There are times
Well,
where
yeah,
there's a
Miguel. I
fighter
mean,
who's, oh,
I mean, common sense tells us that they're at war right now with Saudi's money, right? Saudi has
okay,
the money to take fighters and go fuck your belt. We're not even fighting for the belt.
sure,
It's not going to be a belt. It's going to be Cepeda versus Shakur for nothing. They're not, and people might still tune in. Boxing guys that know those are two of the best fighters in the world still might buy that fight, right?
mhm,
So I think the belts know that's what they're up against. So they're going to come together to try to make the biggest fights they can and keep this ball rolling for boxing on that side. I think they have to work together. It's not even will they work together to beat this bigger monster. They have to come together and work. And that might even mean Eddie Hearn, the promoters too. It might even mean the promoters too to defeat what Turkey's money is potentially going to bring to try to take this thing over. How can they not take it over without overpaying these fighters when they leave their companies, right? When these guys start,
yeah,
hey, my DAZN contract's up, and I'm not going to say Top Rank because we got to talk Top Rank a
yeah,
little later. I'm going to
yeah,
keep them out of the picture right now. But when you talk Eddie Hearn and DAZN and De La Hoya and Golden Boy and possibly even the PBC and Al Heyman, um, you just it's almost like they have Turkey's. He's not doing this right. He
no,
didn't do this right. The pay structure is not going to work for boxing. Boxing was not in the same place. So, and Shakur, I got to say, gives us a little bit more evidence that there are people that are going to say no to him. I don't bow down. That's a pretty bold statement to write online, that you don't
mhm,
bow down to a prince. I think they take that pretty offensively. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never been there, but all the movies that I've seen, they're pretty. That's not like that's something you don't do when you go over there, right? Um, so that's a sign of respect or whatnot. And he hella disrespected him basically in public. So that bridge could possibly be burned. I don't know. We'll see how what a discipline these new
Yeah.
guys are, because look, the prince is supposed to be young, new, right? Wants
Mhm.
change. He's trying to bring change to
Yeah.
the
He's trying to
region.
be modern.
Yeah, modern. There you go.
Mhm.
So we'll see how tough they are in their old ways. If maybe he goes, I don't care what he said. Bring him over. We'll still give him 10 million. Or maybe he's gonna say, yeah, you're
Well,
done.
I mean, we kind of got a glimpse of that with Gervonta, right? Gervonta saying like, "Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead and send me two Ferraris or whatever the fuck it was, Bugattis," and he's like, "How about we'll send you two gloves? Well, how about that?" So
Yeah.
we kind of got a little bit of a glimpse of that because this is a unique situation because Shakur is now with Matchroom, right, and Eddie Hearn, and we've seen how Eddie Hearn has bowed down to His Excellency. So even though Shakur says like I won't, but is Eddie Hearn being like yes you will, go ahead, is that Eddie Hearn behind him saying like because there are times where it looks as though Turkey leapfrogs fucking the promoter and goes straight to the fucking fighter. So I don't know, he's saying no, but the guy above him, his own promoter, is saying yeah we probably should.
That fight doesn't need the backing of Turkey unless he's overpaying. You got to remember some of these first splashes that Turkey did, especially I got to bring up like the Bivol versus Better Beef.
Mm,
The fight never happens, you guys, unless someone overpaid these
okay.
men. And that's what he did, and it got him exposure, at least as coming out and being the new guy on the block, but it did nothing financially for him. They didn't make any new fans. Now I know numbers have went up since we talked about the what 40,000 or it
Yeah,
was it
40
40,000
45,000 I think it was
45,000.
originally.
Okay,
Yeah.
that they said they did here in America. But yeah, that wasn't a great investment for him. Kind of did nothing but let him steal a fight and show his power by, oh, you said it can't be done. Well, I got it done. Kind of moment for him.
Okay.
Um, can't have too many of those though, right? So at some point, the company does have to start making money,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So um,
Or will they? Because that's the thing. Like and I've heard other content creators mention this as well, and they're right. He's using our beloved sport for fucking Saudi Arabia tourism. That's why he's using it for. So if he enters the sport not knowing how to run it and he's trying to kind of do his own thing and half-assedly listening to some of the promoters who know what the fuck they're doing, and it isn't a success, he just poured a fuck ton of money on this and he's like, oh well, it didn't work, and then bounces. Like, what is that? Where does that leave fucking boxing? I mean, that it kind
well,
of
well, let me finish with
okay,
The Shakur and Cepeda. They're bigger than Better Beef
okay,
and
good enough.
Bivol, right? That's
Yeah,
what we're hoping. So Eddie and Oscar can be like, look, dude, how much more money is he gonna really give us that we're not gonna make on this thing anyways? When you talk about pay-per-views in America, TV rights in Mexico, hey, look, one good sign about Vegas, they're bringing fights back. I've been seeing a lot more fights that are landing in casinos. The Fonta Blue did one on ESPN the other day.
yeah.
Um,
Sandy
there was
Ryan and Michaela Mayer, the
yeah,
rematch.
there was another one. Where was it yesterday?
Fundora, and that Booker dude. That was at the Mandalay Bay Arena, now called the Michelob Light Ultra or something like that.
Yes, dude. So that's a good sign, bro, that
Mhm.
the casinos are investing back into the fights. Because how I remember it, the casinos used to buy the fight, right? They would go, we
Mhm.
would give you a guaranteed purse of 2 million, and it's because I'm talking Fundura and whoever the fuck he
Yeah,
fought.
yeah,
Um,
fucking
yeah, the promoter go, shit, we got 2 million off the gate. All right, well, yeah, that's fine. We didn't even think we were gonna make 2 million on the live gate. So yeah, we'll take that. We'll bring the fight to your show or your casino, and then they try to make money on the TV rights. So this is awesome that boxing matches are getting back into the casinos. Um,
Oh, you know what? A side note, I think last night, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on because we're going to go over the results. The Richard Torres fight from last night, that was at the Palms. I was at the Pro,
yep.
right? That's also another casino that
Good.
hosting the
Yes.
fight. But I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. So So these are good things. So with Vegas investing and Cepeda and Shakur being, that fight is got Vegas all over it, right?
Mhm.
The Americans are going to show up because it's Las Vegas. It's Shakur. The East Coast will come, and then the Mexicans have always supported all of their good fighters. Cepeda he's undefeated, over 30 wins. He's a champ. He should have some kind of pool on tickets out there in Mexico and with his fans too, if
Mhm.
they're priced right. They got to obviously get the prices right on this fight, but if you get the prices right and the demand goes up, it's the closed circuit that the casinos can really make money on, because that's all profit, right? You're just putting up TVs, putting in a stream, and now we're just selling $18 beers or whatever the fuck they cost now. It might even be, what is it, Miguel? $20? What are a
No,
beer
no, no,
nowadays?
it's still like 17. It's like 17 bucks. It's still
Okay,
up there.
good.
It's almost 20 fucking dollars per beer. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, granted, it's a tall boy, but still.
Look at how I'm all happy that there's still $17. Jesus. And I know I say it all the time. I used to feel
I'm gonna
like a
double
king.
this.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So that's where they make their money. So if you get the ticket prices low enough, hopefully that makes a demand where the blue collar fans that are around Las Vegas, around California, will go, "Hey, man, I'm gonna go try to check that thing out and go to this fight." They got to price it right, but at the right price, it should bring enough people that that maybe De La Hoya and Hearn don't have to look at His Excellency. Now, when His Excellency wants to put on his own little special cards where he's matchmaking and overpaying the whole fucking card. Well, yeah, these guys are probably all in. Like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You want to pay? Who was the big heavyweight, bulky? They gave him
Oh,
what,
the
500?
Bacoli, yeah.
Bacoli, they gave him like 600 grand for a 3 day notice. Yeah, there's, promoters were like, yeah, go get that money. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make. Where are we gonna get that in 3 days? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, he wants to overpay like that. Fine, let him do those cards. But the big cards, Turkey needs to make sure he doesn't put himself in a position where the promoters go, yeah, you were interesting, but we don't care about the extra 10 million you're going to give us if you're going to be an asshole, try to steal our company, say we all suck as promoters, our company's broken, Dana
Mhm.
White's going to fucking save it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, just the way that some of these promoters let Dana and him talk about the sport in that 1 week and not just totally pulling back. I know why. They're all hustlers. They're gonna hustle. The guy turned into being who's gonna go and hustle this man? Like, not work with him, but let's take his money. That's what
Yeah.
it turned into, in my opinion, because that's what all these promoters so-called are, right? They're sharks, right? So
Mhm.
they're not gonna burn that bridge, but they're definitely, you're not sleeping in their house or anything
No.
anytime soon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's what Oscar was saying when he was talking. One of his recent like clapbacks was whether or not he would work with Dana, and he's like, "Yeah, of course I would, because we're all scumbags anyway, right? Like I've worked with
Yeah,
hella scumbags
exactly.
anyway." So I get it's like if he's gonna take his money, yeah, of course, but I'm not inviting you for dinner, you know?
But and it's just going to be for the right fights. It's just going to be
Yeah.
the fights that make money here in America. Maybe that doesn't go to Saudi anymore, and that's where he messed that all up. He messed that all up.
So you're thinking there's a way that the promoters can make Cepeda Shakur without Turki
Without, yes, but that's only, hey, look, there's going to be a lot of power moves happening though, right? Because at some point, His Excellency is going to have to call De La Hoya and be like, hey, man, I'm not working with Shakur, or he's not working with me. Why are you giving him that fight when I want Cepeda to fight this guy? He might come up with a new dream or a match that he wants, and then Oscar's gonna have to decide. Shit, do I answer this call or do I go, no, dude, we're gonna work with Shakur right now, and then how does that affect the relationship in the future with them two?
or does he
Right?
try to convince Turki Sheikh? He's like no, no, no. Listen to me. Let me pull up this PowerPoint presentation so you can see why it is better to go this direction and not some other dream on top of a fucking building in Saudi Arabia or some shit like that. Like, would he try to? Do you think Oscar would go as far as to try to convince Turki Sheikh?
Me and you have both said on the show we don't know if there's too much convincing going on with these guys, right? They kind of, what Riyadh wants, Riyadh gets kind of mentality.
Mm,
So I don't know. I don't know that, we're not there seeing what kind of guys these are, but going off of what they've given us on the interviews and everything, it doesn't seem like he listens to one dude above him, right?
mm.
And I think that's the way they go. And seriously, with these, the Americans are not understanding. These guys don't take insults lightly, right? People have been executed for like shit they draw on the newspaper, right? Haven't like journalists literally lost? And I'm not saying this Prince, I'm not saying him, but I'm just saying the
Yeah.
the environment that they've grown up to. They're kings and sultans and all that. They don't take good to criticism, right?
Mm.
You'll fucking be checked out, man.
But I think they're only saying that because they're over here and they're not over there. If they were over there, I don't think they would be saying those kind of things because
Whoa,
on
but
their
what I'm
fucking
saying,
turf.
but what I mean is, did they burn the bridge? I'm not saying
Okay,
he's
okay.
gonna harm
Yeah.
anyone. I'm just saying they're like, well, fuck, we're not working with him ever again. Go ahead and write his name off. And to them, these guys are probably just pawns they're playing with, right? They're not looking at, oh, I really like Shakur. He's a good kid. I don't think they have that conversation. I
No.
just don't.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Oscar says in return. After him calling out Shakur and Shakur like saying like, no, 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 it was Turkey who did this bait and switch on me. Offered me X amount of dollars, and now is going back on that offer. I'm interested to see what Oscar has to say next. I want to see if maybe next week's Clapback Thursday or whatever the shit, he's got something to say about Shakur.
And there's a few reasons why this money got taken back off the table. One, it's either His Excellency is realizing you can't spend $10 million on every fight and only make $1 million back. That's not good for the business, right? That could be
Mm.
happening. Or could it be Dana White talked him enough to where Dana was like, dude, you need to stop paying this type of money. I can't
Yeah.
make. Just hear me out. How is his business supposed to go if His Excellency has another side hustle where he's paying tens of millions of dollars to guys?
Mm.
How is Dana really supposed to sign a boxer?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean that it's more that maybe the I think he's a prince. I don't know if he's the king or prince, but maybe that guy looked at the receipt so far and was like, "Hey, man, way too much red on our fucking
Yeah.
receipt on this new investment that we did." You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
we gotta chill on the fucking payouts, dude. And it's not UFC, but I've got to think that Dana had to have had some talk about. I mean, Bivol and fucking whatchamacallit was a $20 million fight. Dana was like, bro, I do not pay those type of guys 20 million. You know what I mean? The Middle
Yeah.
Eastern slash Russian kind of guys. Those dudes aren't making that much. Those guys, I hear the Magladovs and all. What are their names? The ones at Khabib and all them. They
Yeah.
don't
They're
even
not
like their
making that much.
money. That's what I always see on that they just live in the mountains. They all care about their own families and just chilling. They come down the
Mm.
mountain, beat some ass. That's all they do. Then
Yeah.
they're not really even. They don't care about cars and private jets and all that shit. That's what Dana White probably told. He was telling him like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing over here?
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad. I mean that's a pretty good. Um, that sounds reasonable. That sounds plausible. There's I
Right?
don't think you would be able to do that and be like, dude, I'm over here trying to fucking like work these fighters to the bone and have us pocket all the fucking money. You can't be paying those sons of bitches that much amount of money. Like you have to tone it down a little bit. So I wouldn't be
Hey,
surprised.
Miguel, in one office, you got someone telling the prospect that the boxing's dead and you need to sign with TKO to revive it. Down the hall, he's like, 5 million each guy. How about that? How
Yeah,
about that? It,
for
it
the
doesn't
co-main event.
work.
It's like,
Yeah, it doesn't work, man.
oh man, yeah, that's no, that makes sense though. I mean, if they're going to be working that closely together, I wouldn't be surprised if Dana's in here like, dude, no, don't do this shit. Especially not this guy. This guy, puts on dances around for 12 rounds. Like, no, 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 no.
Right.
It's good.
Right. Yep.
Uh, well,
And
yeah,
I got to say, boxing, don't believe the lies, because I'll give you two names, and we know one of them is Floyd. Floyd put everybody to sleep in the beginning, right? Puffy hands, he doesn't favor no one in the stands, blah, blah, blah. Guy turns into the biggest grossing fucking pay-per-view seller of all time. Knocks out nobody. Going 12 every time he steps in the ring. And the second fight or second fighter is Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker rated one of the, if not one of them. Some even have him the greatest lightweight over a man named Roberto Duran, the greatest lightweight, and Chavez, but they always say Chavez wasn't there long enough. That's their excuse for Chavez not being number one lightweight. But so don't stop it with the Shakur. He doesn't have power and he puts people to sleep. That's why I don't like him. Purnell used to put a lot of motherfuckers to sleep. He still got paid, still rated the highest. Because at a certain point, you got to respect the defense, right? You got to respect the offense. You got to respect how a man could get in the ring with all of these heavy hitters, these guys that are knocking people out with one punch. Tremendous knockout ratios. Here's a guy with a 17% knockout ratio, beats his ass in 12 rounds.
But could it be that maybe fans have learned, like, the and here's the thing: Floyd became Floyd because of his personality. He knew that not knocking people out wasn't going to get people's attention. So the best way he can do it is to become the bad guy and create this persona of Money Mayweather, right? So he can piss people off enough for them to want to pay have people seen that and be like, you know what? I've had my fair share of paying for fucking Floyd fights, hoping he gets his ass beat. He ends up not getting his ass beat. I'm done with this shit. So now that Shakur is kind of getting this tail end of it, could it be that fans learn and be like, look, I can give two fucks to this dude. Like, he's not knocking people out. I'm not interested. I'm not gonna pay anymore. I've learned from Floyd. No.
It's the matchmaking. As long as Shakur is fighting the guys that people want to see and keeps winning, he will become the number one guy in the world. Because let me tell you, there was a lot of Floyd haters, closet lovers behind the scenes. Do you understand what that means?
Sure.
In the public, they're hating him. Oh, fuck, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Dude, you buy every single fight, and then you tell me how great he was at the end of it. Like, that defense is pretty good, though. It's like, I know it's pretty good, bro. I know. I watched it with you. We all seen him fucking miss a million right hands. Like, there was a lot of that with the Floyd career. He had a lot of people that were like, they wanted to see him lose. But when their guy didn't win, it was like, man, he really is that good. Because fuck, I thought Berardo was gonna touch him. Fuck, I thought Guerrero was gonna touch him, or Cotto. You got to think of all the fan bases that he disrupted, right? De La Hoya, Zapakia. These are major fan bases that had
Jesus.
the Hatton. Yeah, that was a great fight. That was a great fight for Floyd. But yeah, he had a lot of people that would hate him going in, and then after they destroyed their guy, it was like, damn. All right, I get it. I get it now. So Shakur can be that guy. All he has to do is keep winning. He has the right talent in front of him in this division and in the two divisions above him. All you got to do is win in boxing. All you have to do is win in boxing, and then people start respecting it. As long as you're not a cheat. I'm not saying that, you fucking go out there and cheat your way, Ryan fucking Garcia, even though for some way, he even winning that fight with Haney made him the better guy. So it does work, I guess, even when you fucking cheat too, Miguel. It used to not to. Boxing had a lot more respect back in the days with the fans that would, throw that shit away. I don't know how Ryan got away with everything he got away with, but it really
I
does.
think it had to have been Devin. I mean, Devin fucked it up for himself. If it was somebody
True.
else, it probably had to have been Devin. Because if it wasn't Devin, basically like shooting himself in the foot with like the lawsuit and basically trying to take him to court and all this stuff, I think at that point it's like, all right, dude, he beat your ass, cheated. That's enough. Don't go.
And I gotta say, it's the assault. I can't say the lawsuit because
isn't the lawsuit about the assault? No.
No, I'm saying them labeling it. So they should have done brief of contract. I'm talking about the PEDS thing, the PED he got busted with, not the overweight. The overweight is going to come into the court case because it's a part of the situation, but that wouldn't have been on the ticket. I would never have been I'm suing him for assault. That I don't know where the fuck his team got that. I had to, the lawyer maybe the lawyer said, hey, that's all we have, right? That's all we have. You can't get him on breach of contract over PED use because of some laws in sports or some shit. And they're like, fuck, we're already so down far the river. Fuck it. Let's file it for assault then. So maybe that's how that played out. But I can't be mad at the lawsuit. I get it, though. Everyone was calling him a baby because of the assault thing that they tried to attach to that. I do think it's going to be something in the future because you guys, I got to stay heavy on Ryan kind of pled guilty himself or made himself bad with all those videos that he put out there, making it he made it look very much like he planned the whole thing. He planned to act stupid. He planned to act like he was drinking and doing drugs. And then he came in overweight and on PEDs, bet, what'd they say, 6 million on himself? 6 million?
Yeah, he put a decent amount
He
of money. No,
put a big.
that's what he won, wasn't it?
No,
Like
I
maybe
thought
like
he won
10.
12 million.
Oh shit, Jesus Christ!
Oh,
Wow.
bro,
Okay.
yeah, I'm telling you, he robbed the casino. I don't know how. That's what I mean. The casinos ain't robbed by the mob anymore because that would not have happened in 1980, bro. That would not have happened in 1980. You would have straight got a knock on the door. They've been like, you were gonna invest to cousin Vito's non-profit boxing club over there in the East Coast.
Yeah,
All 12 million, bro. All
yeah,
12 million. That's right.
that's the
So
deal. Sign here.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. I forgot where I was gonna end that. That's where I was going with that.
That's all right. But nonetheless, back to wrap it up, the Shakur can't be that guy if he can just keep winning and
Just
his
keep
hands
winning.
stay healthy. His hands stay healthy, mind you, because once those hands start to fucking go, because not Oscar, Floyd has. Well, I'm sure Oscar too, but Floyd has had his fair share of hand injuries, and we know Shakur is up there as well. So as long as he can keep those hands healthy and continue winning, he can be that guy. Okay, on to some of the other fights. Now, this one, of course, because we are, we do live in the United States, and our heavyweight division is very lackluster after, one Deontay Wilder no longer really being up there as far as like the top dudes in the heavyweight division, and having kind of a hot and cold, real big baby. We have ourselves Richard Torres Jr., who fought one Guido Vianello last night here at the Palms Casino in the Pearl Theater. Um, you know what? I'm a fan of his. The guy has a Latino last name. Of course, you're gonna wanna, you don't see a lot of those guys, the Latinos, heavyweights, besides the Ruizes of the world. But on top of that, he's an Olympic. I forgot what medal it was that he had.
Silver medalist.
Oh, silver medalist.
Silver.
Silver medalist. Um, you know, I gotta say, it left a bad taste in my mouth. That fight yesterday. It just looked so fucking sloppy. God damn it, it looks so sloppy as shit. And as a matter of fact, I think Guido was also an Olympian as well. It's like for two Olympians to be flopping around like that, I don't know. And I'm happy that Torres got the win, because at the end of the day he got the victory, and rightfully so, because he did win. I don't know if right offhand, I don't remember if he has gone 10 rounds before. I think he was scheduled to go 10 rounds, but actually finished the guy before. He was sucking wind like hard, at the
Yeah.
second half of that fight. So I don't know. I was hoping that this was going to be, because like I'm every time we see him in the ring, his opponent, we're like, who the fuck is his opponent? Just some can. This is like the first time that it's a notable name. It's somebody who we're familiar with, who has a pretty decent record and is a big motherfucker. He is tall as hell. It's like, oh shit, okay, this is the next level. This is now he's stepping into the next level of guys that he can't just mop the floor with. He's gonna have to go in there for the full as 8 or 10 rounds or whatever it was. In this particular case, it was 10, and he came in with the victory. But to say he passed with flying colors would be very generous to say. He won convincingly, but he didn't look great doing it. Maybe I'm just like going too harsh on him, because damn it, we need a fucking American heavyweight, god damn it. And this could be the next dude. And maybe we're so used to Big Baby Miller and his flashy shit. I don't know what the fuck it is. He won convincingly on the scorecards. It wasn't like it was close there per se. But I just don't see it just didn't look
It was
as convincing as
workmanlike.
it should be. Okay, it was
It was
workmanlike.
workmanlike.
What did you see?
You hit a lot of the same points that I was gonna go on. Look, he's a Olympian, but he doesn't look like Evander, right? Doesn't have the
Mhm.
same skill set as Evander does. He's small, heavyweight, powerful, but doesn't look like a David Tua or a Mike Tyson either, right? So Richard Torres is Richard Torres, and that's all he's gonna be when he as he moves higher. I don't know where he's gonna end. As far as being a world champion or undisputed or anything like that. I just you don't see it. And yeah, the highlights that Top Rank posts on this guy is like, dude, you guys could have left that in the vault, man.
Mhm.
That is a straight tomato can. Like those two highlights of him knocking out those two Mexican guys, those dudes had no business in the ring.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not really a highlight at all when the guy is fucking 500 pounds or just overweight.
Yeah. It was
Um,
like they got the
and
guy fucking selling the hot dogs on the fucking lawn, in
yeah,
an alleyway, and like, all right, hop in there.
yeah, so no, I agree with you. It was a sloppy fight. You know, the ref had a hard time early calling holds
Oh yeah,
on
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 Guido.
Guido.
Mhm.
very early, but there was nothing he can do. The guy was like he was all over him. He fucking in and out, trying to use his speed because he's smaller. I get it, right? But I get why Guido was leaning all that weight on him too.
Mhm.
Didn't know if the holding should have called a point by round fucking 4 or whatever it was. You know, it was like, damn, top ranked guy, Guido, you're fighting the top ranked guy. He's like, Dustin, don't even touch him. You let him bounce around and beat the fuck
Yeah.
out of you. That's what you're here for.
Just put your
Go
hands up
ahead,
and block.
Richard, get him.
Yeah, Richard, you heard nothing of that. You just go get him.
Yeah. And Guido, I remembered him as soon as they showed that fight. He was in that the loser goes back home, no green card. Remember
Oh,
that? Remember remember Timothy Bradley kept bringing that
yeah,
shit up?
yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
that's so for Lee, right? That fight was all for Lee right there.
It's like if they gave him another shot, I think he actually did win that fight. So it's like, oh, that's why they brought him back.
Oh yeah, no, he
Like,
did. Yeah, he got a
yeah.
contract that
Oh,
night.
gosh. It's like here's the contract sign here, and here's the green card, sir. It's like thank you very much. I appreciate
Get
it. Thank you, Mr.
another
Bond.
6 months.
Yeah, exactly. But after this one, I don't know. I mean, geez, they both look pretty. I mean, Torres won, all right, right, and Guido just looked so fucking bad, and he looked slow. And I mean, for as much as he would have been able to have just taken a half step back and maybe land an uppercut on him because Torres is naturally shorter and he does tend to kind of hunch over when he comes in. You would have thought uppercuts would have been like on the fucking like Fundora, that motherfucker, dude. Just
Right.
crack the son of a bitch. But for whatever reason, and it just looked like he was just. eh,
He
There were.
does
Uh,
he makes a little bit of a comeback. He did start figuring out, and maybe it was all the holding leaning on him. He did, and because Torres does get tired,
yes.
Guido makes a little bit of a comeback. But yeah, I hear you. I don't know. Guido's time was bought time anyways. On the last fight, you could see they were already ready to release him. I don't know where his future is. What his contract that he signed, it might have been a one fight deal, and then he's done today anyways.
Mm.
For Torres, I don't think they can move backwards. I think they got to stay in this level and just tell you, like, you've got to pick it up. This is on you now, right? You wanted the next step into the next level. Well, we're here now, and now that's where we're going to stay until we want to take you to the championship level. But I definitely think Richard Torres needs to stay where he's at, and just they got to move forward with them. He wanted it, he got it, he got the victory. Now we take one step forward. We're not going back.
Or the next step be on the same level. No, I mean like
Well, yeah,
not
that's what
necessarily
I.
for.
Yes, the same exact level, but it's still a risky fight because this one was kind of got risky, right? So
Yeah,
it's still, but that's what I mean by we're not going to go back to tomato can. You're not going back
yeah.
to the hot dog guy, right? So yeah,
We're
whoever
not doing
that,
what Berlanga did. It's like going
yeah.
back to the fucking
Oh man,
coming out of prison. None of that shit.
that
Right.
was fucking terrible. Eddie did him so dirty in that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, and that guy didn't do himself, and he was like, bro, can you not look like a fucking gump on the stage? There's nothing you can do. You can't you don't have a face. You don't have give me your war face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
be mad at him or something. Like, oh, that was terrible what Eddie did to Berlanga on the way out
Oh
there.
yeah. And didn't even put
Yeah,
him as put him as co-main event on top of that.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
But anyway, yes, one Torres here. Uh, so here's the thing. This is kind of where I'm thinking he might actually make it pretty far. Not necessarily because the heavyweights are so stacked, because you know, uh, what's his name? Wilder isn't what he used to be.
Right.
Joshua's coming off a fucking loss, a bad TKO or KO, I should say. Um, Fury sort of kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, says he's retired but might come back. Usyk is actually sort of kind of his size. Um, I mean, he might get a box by him, but I think Torres maybe it sucks to say this, but for lack of every other bit of better competition, he can go pretty far. I think. Like I don't know how he would do against a Dubois or what the fuck is his name? Goddamn, I'm now blanking on the dude, the New Zealand dude who just beat uh,
Parker.
Parker. Thank you, sir. Joseph Parker. I don't know how he would do against those guys. I mean, definitely not now, obviously, because he looks so goddamn sloppy. But if by the time he's up there, they're gone. I mean, that is a void, and it's open for him to come in here and basically just collect fucking belts. No.
It is until we see the next guy come up out of nowhere, right? I mean, that's usually how boxing is. It's sort of like the bulky kind of came out of nowhere and just became big, right?
Mm,
So, um, well, yes, if the landscape stayed the same from the next 5 years from now, yes, he would be taking in a lot of older guys. But that's probably not going to be the case for him. There will be other rising stars that come with him, and the guys are just going to be big. Look, I can't put Richard Torres in the favorite on any of the matchups you just named. You know what I mean? Like those dudes are all bigger. They're all world class fighters, and Torres just went fucking 10 rounds with Guido, right? So he's got a lot of he's got a lot of growing to do, but and unfortunately they're at that level now. Like seriously, an Andy Ruiz fight or a I mean, you want to step him up into the big ring, a Joshua fight, because Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz and seems to have a bad chin. Those are fights that maybe Top Rank can look at on building him into
mm,
the next one. You know, Andy is a good puncher, but very heavy. He's not his stamina is not good at all. So you would think that Torres might be able to outbox him, right? So those are two fights where that kind of puts him in the top 10,
mm,
but he's not. He's still below those guys like Usyk and Fury, because I even think Fury would put a fucking hands on Tours if they
sure.
were to do that right now. I
Mm,
know they wouldn't, but I'm just saying there's levels to the top 10. I think he can at least enter that level, maybe get him through the year, big fights, good payouts, and see what we have in 26, the middle of 26. But yeah, I don't want to see Torres going backwards. And I'm glad they made the step up because really I was tired of it. I like
yeah.
the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the kid. He's got a good platform to follow on social media. He's always joking around doing cool shit. But then you see his opponents and you're like, come on, Top Rank. What the hell is this tonight? You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it was good seeing him take the step up last night.
Yeah. There's later on this month, or I should say early May, there's that big card in New York that we're going to talk about here shortly. But on that undercard is the Bacoli guy. He's fighting the Effie Jogba guy. Maybe the loser of that fight. Maybe let's say
Yes.
because I was thinking immediately like the Effie dude. I'm like, hey, actually that's not a bad, kind of sort of on that level. Maybe a slight step forward with him. But I forgot that he has a fight schedule. But I'm like, all right, well maybe the loser of that fight, something
Right.
along those lines, right?
Right.
But it definitely it every time I see the Torres gonna fight, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna catch it, right? I mean, just obviously because I'm gonna tune in to watch it. But there's I I don't know if I want to say maybe we have too high hopes for him because our heavyweight division is crap and he's kind of like our next. We saw what happened with Big Baby, right, Anderson. But and I'm like, shit, this is him. And now that we got Big Baby out of the way, like this is the dude we're gonna try to like get behind. I mean, it's our only hope, I suppose, right?
Well, maybe he should fight Big Baby and will answer that question for us. Because
Yeah,
he kind of
that'd be
did
some shit. Yeah,
throw out that shot at him when they said, How do you feel about being the new American heavyweight prospect?" He goes, "I didn't ever think I wasn't the new American heavyweight prospect." I was like, "Oh shit, shots fired."
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Top Rank can work something out like that with Anderson. Get Anderson. It seemed like he wasn't really feeling boxing the last time. Wasn't Anderson already doing the "I've reached my goals in this sport" in his last interview for his fight?
Oh gosh, is that what he was doing? No, I
Yeah,
don't
I could have
remember.
sworn his last interview, dude, he was already doing the whole "I've already reached what I where I wanted to go." So maybe they'll give him one more check for with Richard Torres and send him on his way.
That'd be nice, right? It's like, hey, look, just pass the torch of the next great heavyweight to this dude, the next American heavyweight, right? And then maybe be like, all right, cool, one last paycheck, go hug your mama because you're gonna go hug your mama. Can
Right.
do that shit. All right, so that moves us, or that takes us to one of the other major fights that happened. One of the few, and we got to take advantage of these fights when they are there. PBC cards that are going to be free, and when I say free, I mean Amazon Prime, of course, because PBC is basically damn near a pay-per-view model only type of promotion, with the exception of a couple of fights. Of course, I believe the last one was also Tim Tszyu. Shit, it's kind of funny. It was when Tim Tszyu lost, I believe.
Yeah, and remember we
Right?
talked about, yeah, we're like,
Yeah,
man, they've invested a lot in Tim Tszyu.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Tim is back, and to some degree, like really, really back, I guess, because he took on only once beaten prior to this, Joey Spencer, at in one of the most, if not the most, stacked weight class right now, the super welterweights, the 154 pounders. Kind of put his name back out there again with a pretty the pretty great, good comeback. It was not that we thought, Spencer was going to come in and actually be that good of an opponent, but considering the two losses that he's had back to back, Tim Tszyu, I'm saying, and we kind of don't know where he is mentally. Let's go ahead and take a step back, a slight step back, not totally into tomato can territory, but like a couple of steps back, and put him in there with Joey Spencer, and ended up coming away with a fourth round. I guess it's considered a TKO because Joey Spencer's corner threw in the towel after him taking a lot of shots. And if you look at Spencer's face, he took a lot of shots in 4 rounds. It took Tim to, like a couple of rounds to kind of get back into the rhythm of things. It seems he wasn't as like when I saw those first 2 rounds, I was like, damn, Tim looks a little gun shy. Oh shit, right? But then he started really opening up in the third and the fourth, and I I want to say he's back. I want to say he's back, but there were a couple of instances where, and you got it right on the money last time, Andrew, when he lost to the Murat Aliyev guy, the Bakram. It was, he hits me, I'm gonna hit him back. He hits me, but he wasn't able to take those shots. He did a little bit of that here with Spencer,
Hey,
but he was able to
yes.
take the shots with Spencer. He was able to take the shots, right. Spencer landed a couple of 1-2s, and he answered it right back, and he hurt, Spencer. He was able to take the shots. That kind of worried me a little bit. Like, no, I don't know if you want to fucking do it that way. But
No, you're absolutely right, Miguel. He is back. He's back, and he's the same fucking fighter he was when he got. Nah, bro, that's
sorry,
all
man.
I was. That's all I was watching last night. I'm serious. I'm like, all right, he's still not moving his head. He's still. It's straight bang, 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 bang. He is a soul taker. It's a perfect name for him. He goes in there and he's gonna fucking punch you until you fold or he folds. That's what we're doing tonight. Unfortunately, I lost all hope of Spencer even showing up when he started arguing with his father in between rounds. That fight was over right there. I mean, literally, he looked like he told his dad no or something like, "No, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to do this and da-da-da." Dude, these guys spent 3 weeks out there. Did you hear that on the
Yeah, he went out there, yeah, several weeks to
three
get acclimated.
weeks? And that's the performance you showed up with? Arguing in the corner, not punching. That wasn't Spencer. We've seen Spencer fight. That he was a shell of himself. And at first I was like, "What did the knockout loss do this to him?" But no, he's had 3 victories since that defeat. I don't know what happened in Australia. I don't know what happened between him and I believe it was his dad. But did you see how the fight ends when his dad throws the towel and walks away?
Oh
Fucking
shit, I didn't see him walk away. I saw
He
him throw the towel.
fucking walked back down the
Oh,
stairs, bro. He literally throws the towel and turns his back and walks. I was like, oh,
damn.
fuck. They left. Dude, I don't know if he told the other guys to stay seated. You guys got to all watch the replay at the end of the fight, but it looks like Joey's standing in the corner for a few seconds by himself. I mean, the kid just got.
I remember seeing him standing in the corner. As a matter of fact, they were interviewing Tim Tszyu afterwards, and he gave props to Joey, for stepping up for the fight. And then they panned over to Joey in a second, and he's got his arms right, just kind of like yeah, like right. But I didn't pay attention to who was behind him at all. I
Yeah.
just paid attention to him.
And what I mean though is most of the time when a guy's getting knocked out TKO style, the trainer is going to throw the towel. He's going to enter the ring. Someone else is bringing a stool. We're getting water on him. We're sitting them down. This dude threw the towel, walks away. The other guys are just like, maybe they're stunned. They can't believe 3 weeks of preparation. This is what it turned out to be, a total shit show. It was literally a total shit show for that kid. He's arguing in the corner. He's doing the fucking like the whatever during the fight. Like, oh yeah, he hit me. Yeah, whatever. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, yeah, he hit me. Did you? He was
Yeah, yeah,
totally
yeah.
doing
And
that,
he was
bro.
like, do some more. It's like, oh, he's gonna come some more. He's gonna come some more. You best believe it. He's gonna fucking throw some more shit.
Oh, bro, it total meltdown, absolute meltdown in the corner of Spencer. And then the way his dad treated him, because I was like, That's not just a trainer, man. That's not just your fighter. You're like, ah, fuck that guy. That was your son that you said fuck him to last
Hmm.
night, right? Because that's what, in my mind, that's how I'm reading that. When you throw a fucking towel, turn around and walk back down the stairs without entering the ring
To see how he's doing,
to
you
see,
just
yeah,
saved him from a worse ass whooping, and he's like, ah, he's fine.
yeah.
Peace. I'm out of here. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want any drama in front of the cameras. I'm out of here. It's like you just made a bigger, you not being there made it a bigger scene really than it really was. I'm gonna go back and look at it because I
Yeah.
don't remember seeing like you gotta understand something. When I'm watching fights, I'm watching fights with my dad, and my dad talks a lot. He's always like just talking and talking and talking, speaking to fathers, and that's just like I'm trying to listen to what my dad's saying, and I'm like listen to what they're saying in the corner, and sometimes even like the post fight with the interview of Tim Tszyu in the ring and talking about Keith Thurman or something in the future, which we'll get to here shortly. But I'm like, Dad, hold on, fuck, let me listen to what the fuck he's saying. I want to hear what this guy's saying so we can talk about it during the show. But I didn't pay attention to his corner. Like I wasn't. I did see the kind of going through the motions of Joey Spencer through it, and yes, he was 3 weeks there in Australia, but the training camp was definitely a lot longer than that, right? He had several weeks prior
Oh, of
to this,
course.
so he had a full training
But you know
camp.
how much
But
money that is? Because these guys don't make a lot of money, bro.
mm,
Spencer never even fought a world champ before. This was like his
mm,
first time fighting an ex world champion. So this guy is totally on the low pay scale. For his team, I don't know who was out there with him, but you're talking about missing work. You're talking about, bills aren't. There's a lot of shit goes on in 3 weeks at the house when you're gone that long. And then you go in there and you start fucking yelling at me, telling me your game plan ain't shit. You go in the ring, you're not doing. You just that was. I'm saying 3 weeks. I know it was probably an 8 week training camp, but I'm saying those men sacrifice a lot. Whoever flew out there with him to get him started, you're sacrificing a lot, man, to get that kind of performance out of your fighter. That's all I meant about the 3 weeks thing. That's a long time to take off of. I mean, are these guys full time trainers? Most of these guys aren't, right? I mean, you got to
no,
be in the $1 million freaking brackets so you could get a 3% cut of that and actually make a great living. You know what I'm saying? To not have to do anything else. Not too many of those trainers in
no.
America, right?
Yeah,
So
or to have to have multiple fighters. If
the,
it's like his pops, chances are he has just him.
the free you have to think, is Al Heyman paying for it? Is Spence hotel for 3 weeks, food for 3 weeks, the airplane for 3 weeks, for to get out there, airplane to get back. Like, who's putting up all this money to have the fight turn out the way that it did for them? That was a total that was probably a moment where the dad needs to step away and Joey needs to move on his own. That's what I
Mhm.
think happened there that night. That it's time to break it up. Uh,
Um, had we seen a better Spencer, um, would we have seen a different outcome? Would we have seen? I mean, would we have
That's
seen some?
that's an unknown. That's an unknown. But I didn't see a guy that was in connected to that fight last night. That was a punching bag. That was a guy that was arguing with his corner. You know, the whole "you hit me more" thing is a turn off when you're not punching. When you're not punching, you're just telling the guy to hit me. It almost looks like you want to be taken out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. He literally
Yeah,
got
because he
taken out.
stopped. It almost looked like he stopped throwing punches
Yeah.
altogether. He just was there and blocked. It's he. There were a couple of times where I saw some of these combinations that Tim was throwing, and it looked as though maybe Spencer wanted to wait until he was done with the combo so he can let it off his own and like not really punch in between Tim's punches. But Tim was just landing, through the three combinations, and then he take a step back and he's gone, and then fucking Spencer throws in a fucking riot that he totally misses. It's like you can't wait for those kind of things. And there were a couple of times where I saw, and I initially didn't see the towel being thrown in. So when the referee stepped in, I was like, "Hey, what the fuck? He's throwing back, kind of, sort of." But then I saw that it was the towel. I was like, "Okay, I guess that obviously that's where the stoppage right there." But um, and even when they stopped it, and man, like now that you're saying it, I'm the body language of Spencer when the towel came in, it just like Just going
Yeah.
back to his fucking corner. It's like, oh shit. I thought, oh yeah, he knew he was done and everything like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go back and look at how much
And when you watch it, watch the replay. I think it's the replay. They do the big view. You know how they go
oh
like
yeah,
where
totally
you see the dad just walk back down the stairs. The other guys are just sitting there. They don't even get up to like go. Oh fuck, he's down. Start moving. No one's moving, bro. It's like throwing the flag. Fucking guy.
yeah.
Fucking shit.
Oh
I
man.
quit. It was a bunch of I quit vibes last
Yeah,
night.
it was. You ever see that funny fucking clip where it's like a little gify of like that fat dude with white guy with glasses and he's just kind of like throwing papers on his fucking desk, just like just doing it. That's pretty much what it seemed. This is like throw in the towel. I'm out of here. Fuck this. Like I'm getting back on the plane tonight. I'm not going back to the hotel. Fuck this shit.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Well, but a victory for Tim. Um, uh, back in the sense that he got the win back and he's back on the win column in the win column, but same old Tim.
Same old Tim, and he's got a huge fight in Australia coming up. Hey, look, that house looked packed again. I don't know what the capacity was, but it was sold out. It looked like the fans were cheering. He gets the knockout. They're bringing on Keith Thurman. I think we all know Thurman and
Sure.
Zoo is happening. And he's got another huge fight. After that, I have no idea. Because if Zoo was smart, he would do the Lee Honish plan and just stay in Australia. Just literally, hey, bro, he's doing good money out there. They're doing good numbers. It's on pay-per-view out there. Have no idea
Mm.
why, but it is. No, you didn't see that? Yeah, there's
No.
no limit
Oh, that's
pay-per-view for
right.
that
You're
fight.
right. Yes, I did
Yep,
see that on the banner. I remember that.
yep.
Yeah, you're right. Wow. All right. So, and speaking of Keith Thurman, of course, his last fight was out there with that Brock Jarvis dude. So he went out there and Tim Tszyu was ringside as well for that one. It was doing a little bit of color commentating during that fight with Thurman and Jarvis. So he's out there, kind of sort of campaigning, I guess, to some degree. I'm talking about Thurman. So clearly, it looks like that's the direction that they're going to go. The fight that we were going to get in March of 2023 or whatever the fuck it was
Right.
before this whole weird twist of fate happened with like Fundora stepping in, and now Fundora's a unified champion. So he's got Thurman next. Um,
Start the next or keep going. I'll be right back, bro. Keep going.
Okay, cool. All right. So, I don't know how much further or farther or further Tim can go at this point if he's going to remain the same and stay that no movement type shit. Man, now mind you, he's had a lot more time at 154 than Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's been out. Um, if if we're talking about the Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu before Tim Tszyu's losses, I would say, okay, Keith Thurman doesn't have a fucking chance. He hasn't been at 154 long enough, and he's been out of the ring for a couple of years at that point. So I'm thinking, all right, Tim Tszyu is going to mop the floor with this guy, and it's going to be the first like real major name that he has in his notch on his belt. But now with two losses later, and one of them being a pretty bad, like KO or TKO against Bakram, and um, Keith Thurman looking pretty good. I mean, not to say that, they put him in there with a killer by any stretch and Brock Jarvis, but he looked pretty damn good. It didn't look like he was the ring rust bothered him too much. He needed to definitely shake it off though. And granted, it was only a few rounds. It wasn't even like a full fight. He was able to get some rounds in there, and it showed that he had, to some degree, still some power, even at 154 pounds. That's going to be a good one. That now it sort of kind of evens it out. Again, before the two losses, I thought Tim is just going to mop the floor with Thurman. Now, I'm not entirely sure. Um, I want to say, man, you know what? I know that chances are Tim is going to come in as the heavy favorite anyway, but well, I don't say the heavy favorite, the favorite, but I just don't think it'll be that heavy that it would have been, a couple of losses ago. So anyway, so welcome back, Andrew. Basically, I'm talking about how the Thurman and Sue fight could potentially look prior to these two fights of that Tim lost. Um, I thought he was going to mop the floor. I would have figured he was going to mop the floor with Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman, if I'm not mistaken, has only had one fight at 154, which is that fight recently that he had in Australia. So Tim has had much more time at 154. But do you hear Tim at the end of the fight say that the weight cut was tough? Did you hear him say that?
Oh no, I did not.
So there was he was being interviewed in the ring, right? And they're asking him, and he was talking about Keith Thurman and bringing it back to Australia. So he's like, yeah, definitely, let's bring it back here, yada yada. And he was like, what is after those two tough losses, what is the toughest part of it? And he's like, man, honestly, just the weight cut, that was, and he kind of sort of said it and then kind of sort of changed the subject a couple of seconds later, but I mean, he blurted it out. He was just like, making that fucking weight, but let's bring it back, yada yada. And he went on to talk about something else, but um that kind of like concerned me. I was like, hold on, really? I mean, he's still a young guy. He's still growing, I guess. So I'm like, shit. Now, because I was thinking he spent a lot much more time at 154 than Thurman. Thurman's only fought there once. He knocked out this Jarvis dude who was, not top notch by any stretch, but it showed that he still had power at 154. Thurman. Now him, I would initially thought that Tim was going to be the heavy favorite. Now he might still be the favorite, but not as heavy, especially after hearing what I heard him say last night about a tough weight cut. Um, he didn't say anything about being sick or anything like that, right? But he made the weight. He did it. I don't know. I'm not sure how much longer he's gonna be able to stay at 154.
Yeah, no, that's surprising to hear because he doesn't seem like a big 154 or junior.
Mm.
What is it?
Super
Super
welterweight.
welterweight.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a big super welterweight. So that is kind of interesting to hear. But I gotta say, that pushes him a little bit closer to a lot of PBC guys, right? And so maybe
Mm.
what's happening is they're running out of PBC options, and he likes working with Al Heyman. Al Heyman don't mind putting these fighters in with him, so they'll move on to the middleweight and maybe work a few fights there. Obviously, Lara being probably the first one,
Oh
right?
yeah,
WBA
right off the bat.
right
Yeah.
off the bat in Australia. So, but the problem with this game plan is the kid don't move his head. So they're only as good as his chin is and how many punches he can take and if he can soul take them before they soul take his ass. That's what we're getting. That's the fucking environment. I don't know what you say that Zoo's getting into right now. He's not really raising his talent level, right?
Mm.
His skills aren't going up. They're leveling out to this fucking robot of I'm just gonna come straight forward and try to beat your ass. That doesn't work good with guys like Keith Thurman. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be all
Yeah,
over that
I
fight.
was gonna ask you that because Keith came up to 154 in his first fight recently with that Jarvis dude and knocked him out. So he carries some of the power with him.
Called him a robot and then knocked him out.
Yeah, right. Um,
He was all
yeah, right. Being Mr. Thurman that he is. So that I mean, shit. Prior to these two losses, I would have figured that Tim was gonna come in and mop the floor with Thurman. Not anymore, huh?
yeah, no. I would definitely that's a fight that I would look into for a knockout on Keith Thurman. Definitely. It's just there's no way you can't look at it with that big of a flaw and Keith Thurman still having the one punch knockout. He showed it against Jarvis
Mm.
and just the skill level, right? He might have the skills to beat Zoo up pretty bad because Zoo has a major flaw. Now, Zoo brings it. I'm not taking that. The guy offensively is good, right? But
Yeah.
that's only going to get you through a certain level in this game. And if Keith Thurman is still championship status or level, yeah, I'm probably bet on Thurman that night. No matter what happens, that I'm probably going to have that as one of the bets that Thurman beats Zoo.
Yeah, and if you remember, there was a point at 147 where Thurman fought Josecito Lopez and got hurt bad. Like he was like hurt.
To the
But
body.
yeah, well, also to the body, and he was like backing up, and he got caught like on the chin, and he was like flopping a little bit.
Oh,
And I think maybe struggling to be stay at 147 at that point. Now maybe at 154 he feels a little bit stronger. Is he too has grown in some sense, and almost there. That's where Tim is going to be. Tim is going to be probably struggling to stay at 154, and that might not help him in that fight with Thurman.
with Thurman.
It definitely makes things a lot more interesting than it was before. Because when I first heard, Zoo and Thurman, I was like, Thurman, really? Oh, damn it! Now it's like, oh shit. Okay, Thurman's kind of back now. Now, like, all right, and now Tim got himself a win under his belt. Now back in the win column. So it definitely makes the fight a lot juicier. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking at Tim Zoo as he's a special project now for Australia. He's not really in the world rankings anymore, in my opinion. I think he is going to lay heavy on bringing fighters over the hill out there because Lara would be another one. Lara's no
Mm.
spring chicken himself, bringing them out to Australia and doing 25,000 at the gate, on ticket sales. Um, and they have a bigger we know that they have bigger stadiums where
Mhm.
you get the right, you get him on a winning streak, he will start packing those houses because it looked fucking electric last night. Not only did the crowd look young, they looked into it, they were cheering, they were chanting his name, like definitely looked like he's got some momentum over in Australia again.
Yeah, for sure. Especially after seeing what Cambosos was able to do over there.
Yes.
Um,
Gambosos and Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn, he did a
oh, that's
good.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did. Him and Manny did great up there. So they can sell tickets. It's a fight spot.
yeah. It's a fight fan spot.
Yep.
All right, moving on. So this came up recently. I mentioned it a couple of times during the show, but um, the first weekend of May is going to be stacked with fights. Right, we have the May 2nd fight in Times Square, the card, I should say. We have Canelo's fight on Saturday, and then Inoue on fucking Sunday, right? And I believe that fight is here. The Inoue fight is here. So in regards to that special Times Square card, right? The Fatal Fury in Times Square, it was recently announced by one Eddie, well, I should say announced, but confirmed by Eddie Hearn that the attendance for that fight will be invite only. So let me go
Womp
ahead and read this.
womp
Eddie Hearn
womp.
confirms that the May 2nd Fatal Fury fight in Times Square will be exclusive, an exclusive invitation only spectacle. No tickets will be sold to the general public.
Mm.
Um, so what the hell's the point of it then? Shit, I thought that was exactly the point, so people could just literally and look. I know that I tend to bring examples of professional wrestling into this, but it is kind of this is one of those things. There used to be events like that sometimes. You would do that. You would have certain events in like Sturgis, South Dakota, I think it was, and they would have people come bring their bikes and they'll fucking have a pay-per-view there, and people just show up with their fucking seats or whatever, and it's just a free show for them to see it. They've done it several times. It's kind of cool. The optics of it look hella badass, but it's for the general public. That's kind of the point of this. What the hell's the point of it being an invitation only exclusive type of event? You might as well have it behind closed doors. Why do you have it in the middle of Times Square? The point is so everybody can fucking see it. And I'm sure if you go up to certain buildings, you'll be able to see it off in the distance anyway. And I'm sure people will do that regardless. But when I first initially heard that this fight was going to take place in this card in Times Square, I thought they were gonna maybe even like block off part of the streets to fill them up with more seats and just kind of have
Well,
a detour around it or something.
we have to make sure that that's not what's happening before we drill him. Because at first I was like, dude, this is total bad. This is bullshit too, right? But after thinking about it, 300 seats isn't a lot when you're talking about four sides, right?
Okay.
So you divide it however you divide it, four sides, 300, get the seats out. The interesting thing is about after the seating. Are they just going to rope and then let people stand? Because then there might only be 4 rows back, 3 rows back at that point, right? Three
Okay.
rows from the ring. That's not that bad. To have to stand, you do have to stand, but I'm sure there's many people that watch a fight standing there, for free. Are they going to do it that way? Because then I'm cool with it again. I'm cool with it if it's just a roped off thing that people have to stand and watch. But if they have walls, bro, if
No,
they
you think they'll go that far to have walls?
put up like just temporary walls,
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. No, no, I
Yeah,
know that, but
okay,
that's what I'm saying. But they're on the streets. That's
yeah,
the whole
that would
point.
be
Why would
terrible.
they go? It's like it defeats the purpose of doing. It's like imagine if the UFC put on a show at the Sphere and then covered up the fucking screens. Like, what
Yeah,
the fuck's the point of doing it in there? There, it's
I
just like
know.
the whole point of my understanding, the whole point of going to Times Square is so everybody would just basically gather and watch a free fucking fight, right? But if you're gonna go as far as to like make it exclusive seating, I have to assume what you're saying originally is going to happen. They're going to rope it off a little bit, maybe have some sort of fence. I don't know, fence it off because you can still see through the fence, and then everybody else can still gather around and watch it. I think, but when you said 300 seats, did you just throw that number off, or did
No,
you read
that's
it
what
somewhere?
that's what Eddie had said. Now
Oh,
Eddie gave out two numbers. I think I took the higher one. Eddie said something like 2 or 300 seats. It was really, yeah. He gives out two numbers in his interview when he talked about it not being open to the public. Um, So that's what I'm interested on. But it was sort of a letdown to hear that all of a sudden this is, because it kind of takes away how Turkey sold this thing, right? About,
Yes.
I want to attract new fans, so I'm
Mhm.
giving it to free. Now all of a sudden you got to be VIP to get in the building. What the fuck? What's
Yeah.
going on here? Yeah.
And
So
who are they gonna invite? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. They're gonna try to do celebrities. You think they're gonna have celebrities there, like top notch celebrities, fucking I don't know, Jack Nicholson or something, and then have like regular fans right behind him? Like, will they have?
that's a good question. Yeah, that is, who are the VIPs? Yeah, that is a
Yeah,
good
because
question
we
too.
can't have fucking like I don't know, Beyonce or something like that there or some shit. Like people bum rush her ass because they fucking love her so goddamn much, right? So I'm not sure if they would have like that close proximity, whatever celebrities and then fans nearby. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good question too. They should have asked. Someone should have asked Eddie, how do you get on a VIP list? What is? Yeah,
Yeah,
what is
or is
this?
there already on one? Because we're a month away. We're a little under a month away at this point, a few days shy of it. So we kind of have to know some more. I mean, this is something, right? We got some more information, but it's still not the whole picture.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Definitely kind of sucks though. It does put a little bit of a dent in the I don't know the
yeah.
uh,
Because there's unknown.
yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of unknown now. So yeah, no, it definitely was a letdown to hear that this all of a sudden wasn't. Dude, you heard me. I was thinking every boxing gym in New York was
yeah.
bringing the kids, right? That have never seen a fight. You literally get to see champions possibly working out during the week. Could meet them, meet and greet with these guys. There's six of them. There's gonna be hella tables out there of fans getting to interact. But yeah, now will they make the drive knowing that they can't even watch the thing? I don't know. I don't know. There's a
Yeah.
lot of unknown, and that brings down the whole fight in general.
And not just a major unknown, but a major unknown inside of a month. We still don't know. We have the fight is rapidly approaching. You know what I'm saying? That weekend is going to be pretty killer. With Canelo's fight on Saturday and Inoue on
So
Sunday. Uh,
I was gonna say, and then we also can say too. Now we know how they're gonna do the Alcatraz thing, right? They're gonna be like, yeah,
oh, that
only 100 people are gonna be there.
yeah.
That's all they're gonna do. They're gonna have a fight and fucking bring in one boat of VIPs.
One fairy. Yeah. That no, that's damn it. And it's ruining what could be pretty fucking tight. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole point of these fights, even the Alcatraz one, it's to have just if it's gonna be a free fight, it's gonna be a free card. Cool. We can take the ferry and fucking watch the shit. But if it's gonna be like invitation only, like it's some sort of damn nightclub or some shit, like are you on the list? Are you on the list? Like I don't know, am I on the list? Here's $20. Am I on the list? I don't know. But it definitely puts quite a damper on the fucking event because that was the whole point of it being in Times Square is that everybody can get and again I'm sure there will be people who will watch it. I'm sure there's going to be buildings around there where
Oh yeah.
people are going to just like for all we know some of those buildings nearby are going to start fucking charging, be like, all right, we got a fucking window here, kind of like a ceiling to floor window, you can look out and $10 a pop or whatever the hell it is, but um
You remember that? Oh, you might not remember. What was that MTV show that used to be done on Times Square?
oh, Total Request Live, TRL.
Yay! Good job, bro. So yeah, that used to show.
They had
That used to be pretty close, right? I
yeah.
mean, that you'd see right in the background of that the whole street, people holding up signs. So yeah, you're right. They'll probably be able to sell their tickets if the ring is close to that building.
Yeah, I mean they have an
50
overhead
bucks.
look. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have I don't know what like we don't know how the setup is going to be, but when you think about previous outdoor events, they like especially here in Las Vegas, right? The iconic Caesar's Palace is basically two humongous or four humongous pillars, the lights up here, right? And then basically four sets of bleachers, humongous bleachers and then some floor seats. So, are they going to set up some sort of canopy like thing like that with like lights and shit like that, or are they going to have a screen or something like a four, kind of like the way it would be inside an arena or something like that? Like we don't know those things. I don't know if they'll go that far or not, but I'm sure they'll have something like that because we are talking about May. It's going to be already warmer, of course, and there's going to be some sort of shade, I have to assume. But yeah, definitely a lot of unknowns that we kind of have to know real soon because we are inside of a month of that. So okay, so that takes us to one of the one of the stars of that card, actually the main event, Ryan Garcia. Apparently, Ryan Garcia is now back with Derrick James. After this whole highly publicized issue with the Reynosos and whether or not Teofimo will be there or not, Teofimo bounced. I don't think we have heard any sort of update as to who he's going to be, who's going to be in his corner, who's going to be his trainer for this fight. Again, we kind of have to know pretty quickly because we are inside of a month. So perhaps you and I talked about it briefly before we hopped on. It may very well just be his pops again. Like
Yeah.
I almost what's the word? I kind of feel bad for Teofimo because I can almost imagine his pop's gonna be like, I told you, you shouldn't go with those fucking Reynosos. It's like you should have stayed, let me fucking stay in your corner. So I don't know if that's what's gonna happen, but uh, also taken off from the Reynoso's gym is Ryan Garcia and going back with Derrick James. I gotta be honest. If I was Derrick James, I wouldn't have taken him back. I would be like, nah, bro. Like you burn your bridge, homie. You come here, you do this, right? You did it with fucking Goosen as well, and for whatever reason, it's not good enough for you, and you fucking leave. And now you come back, like, no, I don't know if I would have accepted that shit. I would have let his ass, you know, yeah, you think the grass is greener on the other side, by all means, go have at it, but don't come back here. Fuck that.
Maybe he charged them more.
It's like
You
how
never
much did he
know.
make in that fucking fight with Devin? You said it was like, or what, or was it? How much did he say he made
30
with
million or so.
Gervonta? Was
30
Gervonta
mil.
also?
Oh, yeah, but I
Like,
think even with Devin, he said he made 30
yeah.
million.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, no, I believe Ryan is in that tax bracket. That's what it costs to get him in the ring against the big guns. Um, and so yeah, maybe he got a raise. I would ask for a raise because you're right. He kind of embarrassed them that whole time. Unless Derrick James was in on it, knew this was all a show from the
Right.
beginning. Even the fact that he got caught on the PED kind of is a black eye for Derrick James too, right? It's
Yeah.
supposed to be. I mean, you're the head trainer, so yeah, it definitely he probably asked for a raise. And I also got to say, Lopez, you know what Lopez can't do after the Barbosa fight?
Huh.
He can't say that he doesn't have fun in boxing anymore. If he says that, he's either big time lying on his social media or it's just a fucking excuse. But um it's not real. You see his posts nowadays? All he does is play around. That's
Mm,
all he's doing. Dancing, fucking hitting guys and sparring with all these different, little jokes or whatever. Like the guy seems like he's having a hell of a time. So miss me with the bullshit about do I like this anymore? Do I like this sport? If you lose, it's just because you're lacking in skills now, right? You're
yeah.
slipping. But I love seeing his workouts. He puts on great. Dude, his jump rope is off the hook. Lopez
Mm,
is probably the best guy at jump roping and boxing, at least the guys that put it out what they do. Um, so yeah, I like seeing his training. It looks like he's having a good time. Definitely doesn't look like he's got any depression going on during camp with the videos that he's posting. So that's a positive at least for Lopez going in, and we'll see how he does. But I don't want to hear the bullshit about he's not having fun because he's having more fun than
yeah.
he's training. Sometimes it seems like.
Um, as far as like having fun goes, do you think that as the fight approaches, that Ryan Garcia's antics are gonna go back to, like, now that he's back with Derrick James? Do you think maybe Derrick's in his ear, like, all right, we did it once, no more of this kind of shit?
He should be. He should be because it was bullshit what Ryan put us through. Still got to say, the whole thing about Ryan going, if I lose to Haney, I'm gonna go sit in the jail with Diddy.
Yeah.
How sick is that? After talking about he wanted to protect the kids and he wanted to do all this, now you're making jokes about the guy touching you. I gotta say, Ryan's never been the smartest kid. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And while the YouTubers might find that funny, there's a lot of people that are in the high pay scale that are, I don't want to say think the way that I do, but see right through the bullshit,
mm,
right? And seeing that, like, bro, now you're joking about it. Now what Diddy was doing to people is funny. Ha ha ha. You want to get fucked too? Like, stupid, man. Grow up.
mm.
Grow up. So I hope James told him to chill out. Personally, I think he's fucking way overconfident going into this fight. And he might have every right to be. He might have
I
he
was gonna
might
say
land
that,
one
like,
left
of
hook.
course he would be, right?
Yeah, but dude, it's to a point where I think he's not even thinking of Raleigh Romero, right? That's why there's no antics to play. He feels sorry for the kid in a way. When they asked him about Raleigh Romero, it literally sounded like he felt sorry. Like, come on, bro. Like, we all know why Raleigh's here, but
Yeah.
Just leave him alone, man. Fucking
Like we're doing
it,
him a favor, man. You know, he's got a little
exactly.
crazy.
That's yes, bro. Like yeah, the guy. It totally seems like they all felt sorry for him. Oscar hella fucking was like, Rolly Romero, is he even a fighter? I felt sorry. Romero was just sitting there watching him. He heard it all.
Yeah,
It was like the kid knows he's a sparring partner that is just living the dream right now. Right? In reality, Raleigh should just be at the gym sparring people for $100 a round. But right now, he's living the fucking dream. He got one gift of a decision, and he's riding that bitch out. Because his interviews really suck now. Remember when he first started? That was
yeah,
they love putting the microphone. Now he doesn't talk. He just stares at the people or gives them one
yeah,
answer. Because I know it's because he knows the jig is up, right? Everyone knows you're fucking way over. You're playing above the rim right now, right? You're not in the
yeah,
class of fighting you should be. Everyone knows it, and it's like he's turning off his character because of it, right? It's brought his vibe down. Where fuck that, Raleigh, ride that shit to the fucking wheels fall off.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's how it was before. I interviewed him like years back, and this was like before he fought Gervonta and everything, and this was after his infamous sparring session with him, right? And I asked him, I was like, any words for fucking Ryan, because Ryan was on the up and up, and he was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll whoop his ass again, kind of thing, and it was just like all out there, right? Very in your
yeah,
face, like totally gonna throw his name, Ryan's name through the fucking dirt and everything, and now he's just so docile. It's just like, what, are you still here, bro? What's going on? There's a camera in front of you. Start, go back to your little. He even had the little Chihuahua for Pitbull back, when he
no,
fought him. Where did that go?
no.
I,
That
I
he's still in debt for.
yeah,
You know he's still in debt when he bought that thing. He bought that on credit. I know he did.
yeah. He
I'm
he, uh,
just
he
fucking.
hit up Adrian Broner's jeweler. He's like, hey, dude, give me something. I'm
Hey, did you hear about? Did we talk about the $6 million scandal?
no, we didn't really talk about that. No.
Dude,
Which
did you
one?
hear about that? That's in the Fed's paperwork too.
Um, no, I didn't. No, we haven't talked about that. But I haven't. I didn't like. I just saw that it was some sort of. What the hell? What was a scam
Big
about?
Big U. I don't know. It's some new Suge Knight guy. It's some fucking gangbanger turned rap producer or something in LA that, oh no, guess what? He's still a gangbanger. Fucking surprise, surprise, right? Like,
Yeah.
so he had a bunch of nonprofits. He was acting like he was doing shit for the community, but in behind closed doors, he's still a high-ranking member of whatever gang that he's part of. So he gets popped by the feds.
Mm.
But I guess one of the things that the feds found out about this man was that he broke up Adrian Broner's fucking scandal. But he was out there in LA, I guess, ripping off basketball players with some faulty dice. Fucking
Oh, that's
crazy.
what it was. That's right.
6 million, bro. That's how much money they're saying Adrian made off of these dice. Are these guys stupid? $6 million on
Hey,
fake dice?
you know what? Some of these NBA players, I swear, they'll hook up with these fucking chicks and knock them up, and then they end up taking them to court for like half their shit. So they might not be the brightest dudes. They're young, and they might be a
Six.
little bit, uh, jeez.
That's insane. That unless he was doing this for years, or who's walking around with 6 million? Yeah, I got like 2 million cash, dog. Let's go to that. Let's go to that house party and play some
Yeah.
dice.
Oh man.
Fucking crazy. Yeah, no wonder why you guys, everyone in the sports world, watch it now. Everyone in
Yeah.
the sports, you see it. I said you guys, flip that shit over
Everybody.
to everybody in the sports world. Ha ha ha.
Not
Hey,
only any specific person out, but
yeah,
everybody in the sports world. Oh fucking lie.
but fucking 6 million. Hey, man, he had a
For
hustle
as
going.
broke
Boy,
as
that guy had a
he
hustle going.
yeah, for as broke as he always made it seem like he was. Now I'm not so sure. You fucking
Yeah.
scamming other people out of their fucking money. Okay, so
How does he hit sevens every time? Idiots.
yeah,
Idiots.
because he does some like sleight of hand shit. It's like, oh yeah, I'll give you these dice. You roll these
Yeah,
fucking dice. He gets back and he
exactly.
rolled these. Like, he's a magician now. He's a rapper. He's
He's
a
a
magician. He's a
magician.
boxer. Fuck, he's a sleight of
Hey,
hand.
anybody can get it,
Yeah,
baby. That's
yeah. I'm the can man. I fucking. Well, look at this can man. Can you can this right here? Look at this fucking finger. Uh, him and his fucking tricks. Like, oh, it's a fake thumb. It's a trick thumb here.
Hey, they should put him back in the media room and have him do the hat trick with the dice. Just
Yeah.
have it, yeah.
Fuck, especially with the deck of cards. Like, right. You option it is. It's like, oh, and then of
I
course he,
got I got Adrian. I can get him on a comeback, eh? Fuck
yeah,
yeah. You're gonna
he'll
teach us
be like,
how to skim dice and fucking do the hat trick.
Adrian's gonna be like, I took your money and your girl, motherfucker. Come on, let's go. You know, do that shit again. Uh, oh,
Uh,
we never. He's the American Chavez Jr. That's what the fuck he is.
yes, sir.
Okay, so moving on. It was recently announced by both Ring Magazine and Mike Coppinger that we may very well have a Caleb Plant versus Jamal Charlo fight in the near future. They are going to be fighting on the same card on the 31st of May. If I'm not mistaken, they're going to be fighting. I forget who they are here. Plant will face Jose Armando Resendiz, and Charlo will take on Thomas Lamana. Both must win in order for them to fight later on in the fall, according to this post here. So, you know, these are the kind of fights that I was kind of hoping PBC would have thrown back already. I would
Right.
have liked to have seen these fights. I would have loved to have seen Plant and Benavidez before all this shit, but now, you've mentioned it many times already, Andrew, that they're kind of running out of options at this point, so they kind of can't afford to pass up fights like this. So now this is Jamal Charlo. That's not Jermell, right? The one who fought Canelo. This is the middleweight who
Yes.
WBC
Yes.
champion for God knows how fucking long without defending the belt. So if this fight's gonna take place, I'm assuming it's gonna take place at super middleweight, meaning that he's gonna move up to 168 if he hasn't already. Because I'm trying to remember the last time he fought. I forgot who the hell it was. It might have been Jose Benavidez Jr. I think it was his last fucking fight, which was that might have been at 160. I'm almost certain it was, and it wasn't even for his WBC belt. But it appears though he's going to move up to 168. And all right, I'm not as excited of this or at this as I probably should have been or could have been a few years back. But we got Caleb Plant back in the ring, and it's always fun seeing him in the ring. Jamar Charlo, where the hell is his head at this point? For being away from the ring as much as he can, or as much as he has been. He is going to have a tune-up fight. Both these guys are going to have a tune-up fight on the 31st. So we're going to see where they're at. We kind of already know where Caleb Plant is at. Every time you see him with that T-shirt, it says Revenge Tour. So he's centered in, right? He's there. As a matter of fact, he was recently interviewed by his wife on one of a previous
Yeah.
PBC cards where they're letting him know like, yeah, I'm ready. Fuck yeah, let's do this shit. Charlo still kind of nowhere to be found. I haven't seen any sort of interviews with him or saying like, yeah, I'm ready for May 31st or whatever the hell. I haven't heard a peep from him. Maybe I'm just haven't been on the social media, lines. Have you heard from Charlo recently, Andrew?
No, actually, now that you say that, no, I haven't. They weren't really a big presence. I used to follow them on social media, and really both brothers I haven't seen in a while. I don't know if they've gotten off. Like, you remember, these are two guys that kind of had some bad life choices recently,
Mm.
right? They've been involved in either fraud, criminal, friends dying at record label stores. I don't know if you knew about that one,
I
but
remember.
they
I
had a
remember you telling me
shooting.
about that. But let's go ahead and
Yeah.
revisit that real quick. So what there
They
was a
well,
shooting?
yeah, it was a shooting. Now they weren't present, but it's their studio, right? So
Mm.
they're involved. They got something going on there. So they just had a lot on their plate recently. Um, Rumors of alcohol might have held up the careers of the
Mm.
middleweight Charlo. I don't even know if it's Jamal.
Jamal. Yeah, you're right. Jamal.
Jamal.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's been a lot going on. We don't know what guy we're gonna see. Unfortunately, I like Thomas Lamana. I like him a lot. I don't know if he has the power or the skill to show us what Charlo is today. Right? Those guys, when Charlo was in his best, they're light years away from each other.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So Lamana, he is definitely a comeback fight to just get him back into the picture. I don't know if it's any kind of test for Caleb Plant. If they really have Caleb Plant as the next fight, that's a hard hill to climb. If you're Charlo, being away from the ring for so long, and then coming back with such
a light opponent because Lamana is probably not a middleweight at all. Probably 154 is as high as he should have
Well,
went.
they're supposed. I think they're gonna fight at super middleweight because Caleb is at super middleweight, and there's where his fight with Charlo is gonna be. So I think this is gonna be Charlo's first fight at super middleweight. So even this dude, who probably doesn't belong at middleweight as it is gonna be at 168
Yeah,
against Charlo as well.
hope the
And
best for him.
I pulled it up here. It looks like Lamana is a 39-5. So not bad of a record. 18 KOs out of those 39 victories. And of those 5 losses, 3 of them were KOs. And from what I can tell here, according to BoxRec, his last fight was against Laura. His last loss, I'm sorry. His last loss was against Laura. That was some time ago, May of maybe I don't know if it's his last year, because for some reason
23, 24, something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
For some fucking reason, what is this?
I think it's
Box rec
23.
doesn't give you the year; it just gives you the date for some reason. But yeah. So it was a while back because he's had one, two, three, four. Geez, I mean, easily 10 fights since then, and they were all victories. Some of them KO, some of them decisions, but definitely the more
The thing
experienced of the two.
the thing about Lamana though, Miguel, is he's a club fighter. He's not a world champion
Yeah.
fighter. So where Jamal was already world champion level. That's what I mean by they're light years apart. Yeah, he has a lot of
But
his.
were, I mean, whether or
They
not they
were.
actually.
Yeah, we're gonna see what they are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm saying if this was matched up when he was at his best, this is a mismatch. This doesn't belong. This is one punch, you're out. You're fucking out kind of fight. Um,
Um, who do you think has the tougher? So I pulled up what's his name? Caleb Plante's opponent, Jose Armando Resendiz. His biggest victory is against Jared Hurd some time ago. And we know that Hurd recently retired, but his record is 15-2, with 11 of those 11 of those victories by way of KO. So uh, 11 out of the 15 by KO. But 15-2 over here against Caleb, 39-5 over here against Charlo. Um, damn, I don't know. Would it be Charlo that has the toughest opponent because the dude has a lot more, like twice as many fights?
um, no, because it's the level of competition that he's fighting.
Mm.
Right? There's no, when that's like saying the tough man contest, because you have 50 of those fights,
Shit.
you're experienced, So,
Yeah.
no, I've followed Lamana a lot. We've been friends a lot on social media, and he's always been on the lower. He even does his own fights. He had a promotional
Oh,
company too on the East
really?
Coast. Yeah, the dude makes moves, and that's why I think that's why he's always in those smaller arena fights, right? Because he's
Mm.
probably putting them on. He's in that circle a lot more. So no, I think Charlo is gonna have the easier opponent here. Um, yeah, I see him if Charlo's prepared. I see him leaving this fight within 3 rounds. It's gonna be the same thing Lara did, dude. Like Lara Inale, that was Lamana's moment. It really was.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it was really sad, but his whole social media feed was like, "You got this, bro. We're all rooting for you. Here's your time. Your time's now." That motherfucker was over, and it's not just over; it's over. Like he was
hmm
asleep. The Tweety birds were flying around his head
yeah,
in like 4 minutes. So that was his moment. It ended
yeah.
pretty
In the first
fast.
round, I think it was, if I'm not
Oh, what
mistaken.
is it? The first round?
Let me double check that, but I could have
All right.
sworn it was the first and first round.
Jeez.
Let
Yeah,
me
and
go
then
back
I was
here.
just I remember feeling bad because,
Oh
like I
yeah,
said,
round one. Yeah. It says according to BoxRec, Lamana down round one, count suspended. So I guess the referee was like, dude, the fuck it, never mind, just
yeah,
forget
because
the
he's
count.
asleep.
Yeah, but it was like, yeah, he was out cold for a hot minute. The punch, number one, number two, the way he landed, I think his head smacked off the canvas too. On
Yeah,
top of that, so it was like double the impact. Yeah, I remember that. That was a harsh fucking
and we're
knockout.
talking Lara. You know what I mean? A guy who is never. So now when you're talking Charlo, it's like, bro, I don't know, bro. You know.
But a Charlo that hasn't been in the ring. So I pulled up Charlo, right? It looks like his last fight was against Jose Benavidez Jr., who naturally isn't even, I think when he fought Crawford, it was at welterweight. I
Welterweight.
think he
Yep.
fought here at middleweight, and this was November of 2023. Before that, he fought Juan Macias Montiel, and that was June of 2021. So it's like
Wow.
2 years gone, and then
Wow.
so now we're a year and a half removed from his last fight, and he went 10 rounds with a naturally smaller dude. It was a unanimous decision victory, mind you, but a naturally smaller guy, and he went 10 rounds with him. Cool, he got rounds under his belt. He probably needed it back then, but he should have, with just size alone, if we know Charlo that we know, he should have mopped the fucking floor with fucking Jose Benavidez and take him the fuck out, and he didn't do that. Yes, I'm not saying that Lamana is a Benavidez, but it's like we might not have the same Charlo anymore.
Definitely, and that's what I was going off was both of them in their prime, but no, with that stat right there, what would you just say? One fight in 4 years? Did you
Yeah,
just say that?
November 2023 was his last one. Before that was June 2021.
Man, 2020, we're almost going on a whole 4 years with just one fight. Yeah, you don't know who to expect. Wow. Hey, maybe Lamana's moments then's on this one,
Right?
man.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe
A former
he's been in the
champion.
game a long time. He's been fighting a long time. Like you said, 40 fights, bro. If he could pull his Rocky moment, it's gonna be right now. It's gonna be right now. One fight in 4 freaking years. That's a crazy. That's a
The
crazy
inactivity
stat.
kills you so much. I don't think
Big time.
people don't
Big
realize
time.
like how much that really does. And there are some people that don't believe in ring rust. I swear they just like come in here like, no, 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 I'll be fine. No, dude, your timing is off. A lot of things are off. Even with a full training camp, sparring sessions, everything. Once you're in the ring, that's a different fucking story, man. And not having too many or enough of those consecutively back to back affects you in ways you probably don't even realize it until you're there. This might be, I mean, it's a former champion. Thomas, it might be Thomas Lamont. Can you imagine the monkey wrench he could be into the plans of a
Yeah.
potential fight? He comes
Yes.
in here and surprises everybody. He's going to be a major underdog. He comes in here. I mean, shit. Maybe that gets him a fight again, a big money fight against
Got
you
to.
know,
Caleb
Caleb
Plant
Plant.
would be
Yeah,
next. Yeah, of course it would have to. Cause, especially because Lamana's been on a bunch of PBC things. That would be a huge win for him. Yeah, I would see him definitely probably moving in. It's a fight we wouldn't want to see, right? You know what I mean? But it
yeah,
would
yeah,
happen. It'd be a Carlos Baldomir versus Floyd. Poor man.
yeah.
Poor man's. Don't jump all over me, Sam. Did you just call him mono? Just kidding. I just fuck with you, dude. But it's a poor man's that
Yeah.
situation. You know what I mean? Get a quick win here on a notable fighter.
Right.
So
That'd be pretty nice if they can do that. But we'll have to find out. It's going to be at the end of May. Hopefully, Charlo is there mentally, right? And he comes in and he shows us the Charlo of old, and then really lights up quite a fire in the interest of him and
Plant.
Caleb Plant
Yeah.
sometime later in the fall, according to what Mike Coppinger was saying here. Okay, and to cap off the show, we talked about it earlier, but we're going to talk about it now. This is a tweet from one Rick Glazer in regards to Inoue's ticket sales here in Las Vegas. As we mentioned earlier, there's going to be quite a weekend, right? May 2nd, Friday, with a Times Square card. May 3rd, with Canelo in Saudi Arabia against Skull. And then the Sunday, May 4th, with Inoue here in Vegas. According to what Rick Glazer is saying, told by multiple sources, Inoue tickets at T-Mobile Arena on May 4th on ESPN are totally dead. So dead, the tickets should be given their last rites. And Team Inoue isn't happy about the promotional flop. The promoter, Top Rank, none of the Top Rank, that's just Top Rank nowadays, according to what he says. Um, we've talked about it. You mentioned it earlier. Top Rank is kind of on the way out. It seems, huh? It seems. I don't think I would have imagined a scenario where PBC outlasts Top Rank, but it almost looks like that might be happening right now. We know that Top Rank is going to be leaving ESPN later this summer. I don't. The word is they're going to be jumping to DAZN as well, but we don't know for sure if that happens yet. But even Inoue's team is not very content with the way Top Rank is promoting their fights. You and I briefly talked about it over text. It's starting to look like Top Rank is just becoming a fucking feeder promotion. They'll sign young prospects and develop them like they did with Crawford and Shakur, but it gets to a point where they want to be stars and they just can't seem to afford to keep them, and they're basically just develop them to send them to fucking Golden Boy or send them to Matchroom. It happened quite a bit, or even independent again, most recently with Shakur. Um, Are we going to see the same thing with Inoue? Maybe Inoue gets to a point where he's like, man, Top Rank is just not where it's at anymore. I'm out of here. Clearly, it's not going very well with the ticket sales. What do you make of this?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why it's happening. Now, I totally agree about the decline of Top Rank, though. It's obvious that this company isn't the powerhouse that it once was. Bob Arum is what, 117 years old right now.
Yeah.
He tried lasting as long as he could for these guys. They're the ones that didn't get their shit right. I don't blame this on Bob. I blame this on Todd DeBuff. I blame this on DeBuff because he was there 25 fucking years ago standing behind Bob Arum. What did you learn? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he didn't learn shit because Bob could never give him the full reins of the company. And when he did, it now seems like dipshit went out and struck a deal with the mob.
Mm,
Right? Because I think we all remember that there was a time where Bob was putting Todd more in the limelight, giving him the interviewer, letting him talk. Now we need to go back and see, was this exactly when Tyson Fury was signed to Top Rank?
mm,
Because they're saying that Bob didn't have anything to do with that. This is all Todd DeBuff. So, and that's why unfortunately, that's why ESPN is releasing them. Has nothing to do with viewership or not being happy with what Bob has brought to them. More or less that you put us in bed with the mob, not a good look. So I blame this on Todd DeBuff, spoiled kid, and I can only say that because I've watched him act like the spoiled stepchild in front of me. Okay, he was talking about all the ring card girls he gets to date, Miguel, right? That kind of douchey guy, right?
mm,
So it was like, so obviously he was just living the life when he should have been with the fucking notepad and pen, seeing what stepdad was doing to create the biggest fights boxing was seeing. Didn't do that. So yeah, Top Rank looks out. Look, I looked up their stable the other day. Andy Vance was at a amateur boxing event, and I remembered his name. Obviously, was Andrew, right? Andrew,
mm, mm,
and so I couldn't remember his last name. So I
mm,
started going through the Google top ranked pro boxer out of San Jose, top ranked this, top ranked, and I got to the top ranked stable, and bro, there's not really a name on there, man. I mean, they got Inoue, and then it's like Tyson Fury, a few fighters down. It's like, well, he's retired. He's not even
mm.
fighting right now. I think
Oh,
Mikhail,
McKillmeyer?
yeah,
McKillmeyer?
Mayer,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was second on their power ranking. I was like, what the? And then there's hella prospects, like you said. Now, some of these guys might be Olympians and all that, and I don't know who the fuck,
Yeah.
they might be the next big thing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
as,
recently Abdullah Mason, that dude, he fought on the
yeah,
undercard of the Torres fight. So,
yes,
but that's what I'm thinking. Like, he's gonna get to the point where whatever the fuck reason, there's gonna be a conflict, and Top Rank is either unable to or unwilling to make him the next Manny or make him the next Oscar or whatever the fuck. And boom, who's he gonna call?
De La Hoya,
Shakur up here.
De La Hoya and Floyd have really left bad tastes in Bob Arum's mouth. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe
Mhm.
he's tired of getting them to that level, and then they sign that
And
contract.
Crawford too. No, I mean Crawford one of the most
Well,
recent
but
ones.
he never. Well, yeah, he does go and make the Spence fight on his own.
Minneapolis. Yeah.
On his own, yeah. So yeah, it's things like that. Maybe maybe they're like, you know what? Let's fucking milk them while they're young, and we're just getting fights. I can't even say big money. Just paying bills, man.
Yeah,
Paying
exactly.
bills.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
when the hell was the last time we saw a top ranked pay per view? Was it the well, I guess in conjunction with somebody else with Usyk and that. I mean, was that? I know that was pay per view, right? At least one of them was pay per view.
Yeah. Usyk
Um,
and Fury.
and Fury, yeah. So that one was pretty big. But what was that? That was that in Saudi Arabia? That wasn't Saudi Arabia, right? It wasn't. I don't think
Mhm.
it was here. So now anything else besides that? Maybe Wilder
Fury
Fury,
and Wilder.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Valdez and Stevenson was on regular ESPN Plus. Uh,
Lomachenko, Lopez. They've all
yeah,
been
that's right.
ESPN, man.
Yeah,
So,
Lomachenko and Devin, that was regular ESPN Plus. So I mean, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling to think so many pay-per-view cards that PBC throws, and they might still be around. Because mind you, this June, or I think it's June, this summer, I should say, maybe not June necessarily, maybe July. Um, uh, their ESPN's contract ends with Top Rank or Top Ranks with ESPN, and Could that be it? Or could it be like that's it? We're done. Time to sell off these fucking contracts and fold or whatever the hell. But
We
now we're
know
seeing it with Inoue.
we know for a fact that Bob Arum should not be traveling the world, right? We got to give the man his flowers at some point. And I don't mean when he gets in the fucking grave. I mean just send him off to a nice retirement. And I don't expect him I think he's only in his 90s. I don't expect him to want to travel to the UK and to Japan and to Riyadh every freaking weekend to keep his business going at this age. This was in the hands of Todd, and unfortunately Todd fucked it all off by looks like he's about to be blackballed out of the sport himself or whatever and I don't even know what's going to happen as far as him with other promoters, but as far as doing business with big companies, you think they want that name on their resume? No, it looks like it's probably out. So if I'm Bob, at the end of the ESPN deal, maybe there is a sell of Top Rank where it's just going to get gobbled up by DAZN, either Eddie Hearn or De La Hoya,
Yeah,
which he has a lot of Mexican fighters. You guys would be smart to go to De La Hoya. I know Oscar,
yeah,
just don't party with him. What is it like Denzel says? Leave a half
yeah,
an hour before the devil shows up. Eh? That's how you deal with the
yeah.
Oscar party. Eh? Not saying he's P Diddy, but I don't know another grown ass man that has more booty fucking pictures and fucking booty shorts and G strings than my boy Oscar De La Hoya. So
Yeah.
there's a certain time of the night you got to leave that man.
Right, right. We're not saying his Diddy, but we're not saying his either.
Or he
We're-
would have partied. He
yeah,
would have partied.
right,
It
precisely.
just nobody's being forced in Dela.
Right. Everybody's
Dela
going.
Hoya would have been like, "Where's the baby oil, bitches? Baby
Yeah,
oil and spoons. Bring it, motherfucker." Diddy
yeah,
would have been like, "Whoa, wait, kickback, spoons. What the
yeah.
fuck is he saying?"
No, Diddy would have been on it. He's like, "Oh, spoons, spoons. Oh, let me try it. Don't knock it before you try it." Like, oh, I think maybe not. But I've been one of those. Also,
You
been
to make a sex worker blush. You're a freaky motherfucker, Delaware. I gotta say, man. You made the sex worker call your company and be like, "You gotta come get your boy. This is some bullshit."
like your dude is on a whole nother level, guys. Come and get him, please, because somebody needs to cut him off. Uh, but yes, chances are we might see the same thing with Inoue in the near future. If things don't turn around, ticket sales aren't what they are. I mean, again, it's the U.S. He probably should have been fighting here a lot more than he has. I think he's
Of
only been like
course. Of
three times. I think
course.
he's fought here in the U.S. or Las Vegas at least 3 or 4 times. So it's understandable that no one gives two fucks about him at this point because nobody really knows him as much because of how little that he fights here. No knock on him. He's selling out arenas in Japan, but now that he's going to try to come over here, he might have fucked himself off of something much more lucrative in the future with not coming out of Japan sooner or as frequently. Okay, well that wraps up our show. We're a little bit over the 2-hour mark, but thank y'all. I know this was kind of a super show because we did have to include last weekend's fights as well with Cepeda and Farmer. But we appreciate you guys' patience. I have my calendar here. Let me take a quick look at what we got next. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we have Stanionis and Jaron Ennis next weekend. So we're definitely going to be talking about that one. I'm not sure there's any more. No, I think that as far as like major fights this weekend go, but I'm looking at my calendar here to my right. So we will definitely be back next week talking about Stanionis, which is, the welterweight division with just kind of dormant right now. All the fucking belts are scattered. We're going to get a unification fight this weekend. So definitely looking forward to that.
Will it finally be Ennis's coming out party?
Mm.
We've been waiting for this moment where Ennis is going to show us why he's the boogeyman of the division or boogeyman of boxing. So we will see.
Definitely much. He'll show us whether or not Crawford is really trying to run away from him. Okay, well, thank you all so much. We appreciate you guys' patience one more time. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy your work week. Take care, y'all. Peace.